Hey guys, tonight we begin with Renaissance beauty, where pale skin meant power and achieving it meant poisoning yourself daily. Because let me tell you, women were literally dying for fashion, one lead-filled cosmetic at a time. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here, and let me know in the comments where you are tuning in from and what time it is for you. It is always fascinating to see who is joining us from around the world. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Think about your morning routine for a moment. You might apply some foundation, a bit of concealer, maybe some blush. The ingredients are regulated, tested, safe. The most dangerous thing in your makeup bag is probably expired mascara. Now imagine a world where your daily beauty routine contains lead levels 10,000 times higher than what is considered safe today, where the foundation you apply every morning is slowly destroying your skin, rotting your teeth, damaging your organs and shortening your life by decades, where looking beautiful and being poisoned are the exact same thing. That was reality for aristocratic women across Europe for nearly 300 years. According to Dr. Catherine Loomis from the University of New Orleans, whose research on Renaissance cosmetics has revolutionized our understanding of historical beauty practices, the pursuit of the perfect complexion in the 15th through 17th centuries was literally deadly. Tonight, I'll take you inside the vanity rooms of Renaissance nobility, where women applied toxic substances to their faces knowing the risks, where beauty standards demanded a deathly pale complexion achieved through actual poison, where physicians warned against these practices, but women continued anyway because the social cost of not being beautiful was worse than the physical cost of the cosmetics. We'll explore the specific poisons women used: lead, mercury, arsenic, belladonna, and exactly how each one destroyed the body. You'll meet real women who died for beauty. Elizabeth I of England, with her face painted so thick it cracked when she smiled. Maria Coventry, who became so disfigured by her cosmetics she wore a mask. Diane de Poitiers, who stayed beautiful until 66, but had lead levels in her bones that would be fatal by modern standards. We'll examine the recipes for these lethal cosmetics, the warnings that were ignored, the social pressures that made poisoning yourself seem reasonable, and the tragic irony that the cosmetics meant to create beauty actually destroyed it. This isn't just about vanity or foolishness. According to historians like Dr. Farah Karim Cooper from Shakespeare's Globe, it is about understanding how beauty standards, social power, medical ignorance, and gender expectations intersected to create a system where women felt they had no choice but to poison themselves. So settle in, because we're about to spend the night exploring one of history's most toxic relationships between women and the cosmetics that killed them. Let's start with the foundation of Renaissance beauty, literally. The most essential, most dangerous, most universally used cosmetic was cerus, also called Venetian cerus, or spirits of Saturn. According to chemical analysis by Dr. Michel de Costanzo, cerus was a paste made from white lead, creating a foundation that gave skin an unnaturally pale, smooth appearance. But according to modern toxicology, it was also one of the deadliest substances women regularly applied to their bodies. Meet Isabella, a noblewoman in Venice around 1560. You are 24 years old, married to a wealthy merchant, mother of 2 young children. According to your social position, maintaining beauty isn't optional, it is a requirement. Your husband's business associates judge his success partly by your appearance. Other women watch for any sign that you are aging, losing your looks, failing to maintain standards, going out in public with less than perfect makeup. According to social expectations documented by historians, would be as unthinkable as going out naked. Your morning beauty routine begins hours before dawn. According to descriptions in Renaissance household manuals analysed by Dr. Karim Cooper, you've dismissed all servants except your most trusted lady's maid, because the process of applying cosmetics is deeply private. Other women must see only the finished result, never the work that creates it. The maid brings out the precious jar of cerus, white paste imported at great expense, stored carefully away from light and heat. Think about what you are about to apply to your face. According to modern chemical analysis of surviving Cirrus samples, the paste contains lead carbonate in concentrations that would trigger immediate hazmat protocols today. Lead content, according to laboratory testing by researchers at the University of York, ranges from 70 to 90% by weight. You are about to smear pure poison across your skin, and you do it every single day. The application process, according to period sources, requires careful technique. Your maid spreads the Cirrus across your face, neck, shoulders and chest using a cloth or bare hands. The paste is thick, chalky, unpleasantly cold against your skin. You need a heavy layer. Renaissance beauty standards, according to portraits and written descriptions, demanded a complexion so pale it looked almost corpse, like natural skin tones, according to aesthetic ideals of the time, were considered coarse and peasant. Like true aristocratic beauty meant skin like polished marble, according to the cosmetic guides written for Renaissance women and analysed by historian Giancarlo Maiorino. The Cirrus must be applied perfectly smooth without streaks or uneven patches. You sit motionless while your maid works, building up layers, achieving that flawless white surface. The process takes an hour, sometimes more. Your face feels stiff, mask-like. You can barely move your facial muscles. But according to beauty standards, this is perfection. Here is what you don't fully understand, what Renaissance medical knowledge couldn't explain. According to modern dermatology research by Dr. Andrew Auden, lead absorbs through skin, especially through the delicate facial skin. Every day you apply Cirrus, lead enters your bloodstream. According to toxicology studies, lead accumulates in bones, organs, tissues. It doesn't leave your body, it builds up. Month after month, year after year, slowly poisoning you at the cellular level. The symptoms, according to Renaissance medical texts, are well documented even if the cause wasn't understood. According to writings by physicians like Girolamo Mercurial, women who used Cirrus heavily developed characteristic problems. First comes the surface damage. The cosmetics you apply to beautify your skin actually destroy it. According to Dr. Loomis's analysis of period medical treatises, the lead corrodes the skin, creating sores, lesions, and discoloration. The damage appears exactly where you apply the Cirrus most heavily, across cheeks, forehead, around eyes. Think about the tragic irony. You apply Cirrus to create perfect, smooth, pale skin, but according to the chemical action of lead on human tissue, the Cirrus creates the opposite: damaged, scarred, discolored skin. So you apply more Cirrus to cover the damage, which causes more damage, which requires more Cirrus. According to dermatological understanding, you are caught in a cycle where the solution to the problem is the cause of the problem. According to surviving correspondence between Renaissance women analysed by historians, they're aware the cosmetics are damaging their skin. Letters discuss the sores, the pain, the visible deterioration, but according to the social calculation they make, appearing in public with damaged, discoloured skin is worse than continuing to poison themselves. The cosmetics destroy their natural beauty, making them dependent on cosmetics to achieve any beauty at all. The damage goes far beyond skin. According to modern medical understanding of lead poisoning, lead affects every system in your body. Your brain, lead accumulates in neural tissue, causing cognitive problems, memory loss, personality changes. Your digestive system, lead causes severe stomach pain, constipation, nausea. Your blood, lead interferes with hemoglobin production, causing anemia. Your nerves, lead damages peripheral nerves, causing numbness, weakness, tremors. Your reproductive system, lead increases miscarriage risk and can cause birth defects. According to your experience over the next several years, you develop mysterious symptoms that your physicians can't explain. Severe headaches that last for days. Periods of confusion where you can't remember simple things. Stomach pains so intense you can't eat. Your hands develop a tremor, your gums recede, your teeth loosen. You miscarry twice. You become increasingly weak, tired, irritable. According to medical understanding of your era, these are separate ailments requiring separate treatments. According to modern knowledge, they're all symptoms of chronic lead poisoning from your daily cosmetics. Now let's examine the second essential Renaissance cosmetic, rouge made from mercury. According to chemical analysis of period cosmetic recipes, rouge designed to bring colour to cheeks contained mercuric sulfide, also called vermilion or cinnabar. The bright red colour, according to Renaissance aesthetic preferences, was crucial. The deathly pale cirrus needed to be offset with vivid red cheeks and lips, or you'd look like a corpse rather than a beauty. Meet Marie, a lady at the French court around 1610. According to your position as one of Queen Marie de Medici's attendants, you must conform to the elaborate beauty standards of the French aristocracy. The Queen herself, according to court records analysed by historian Catherine Crawford, uses cosmetics heavily and expects her ladies to maintain similarly high standards. Your appearance, according to court politics, reflects on your mistress. Looking anything less than perfect is a kind of disloyalty. Your makeup routine includes cirrus for the base, but according to French fashion, you must add dramatic colour. You apply rouge made from ground mercuric sulfide, mixed with binding agents. The rouge, according to cosmetic recipes preserved in period manuscripts, comes in varying shades, some bright red, some more vermilion, some tending toward orange. You choose your shade carefully. Too bright looks garish. Too subtle looks like you are not trying hard enough. Think about what mercury does to human tissue. According to modern toxicological research by the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, mercury is a potent neurotoxin. Mercuric sulfide, though less immediately toxic than some mercury compounds, still releases mercury that absorbs through skin. According to dermatological studies, mercury causes a specific type of damage to skin. It can lighten skin in patches, which actually made it popular for treating age spots and freckles, but it also causes graying, darkening, rashes, and a condition called erythema mercurial, where skin becomes inflamed and angry red. The irony, according to medical analysis, is devastating. You apply mercury-based rouge to add beautiful red colour to your cheeks. The mercury causes inflammation that creates real redness, but the kind that is puffy, irritated, and unhealthy looking. So you apply more rouge to cover the inflammation, causing more inflammation in another vicious cycle of damage and attempted concealment. According to Renaissance medical texts, analysed by Dr. Loomis, physicians were beginning to understand that cosmetics caused health problems. Italian physician Giovanni Marinello, writing in 1562, explicitly warns women that Ceres and Mercury cosmetics cause grave illness and ruin the teeth and gums. According to his treatise, he describes symptoms we now recognize as heavy metal poisoning: tremors, memory loss, personality changes, physical deterioration. But according to the tragic reality, the warnings are largely ignored. Social pressure, according to historians studying Renaissance court culture, is simply too strong. A woman who appears at court without full cosmetics, according to social consequences documented in letters and diaries, faces mockery, loss of status, exclusion from social circles. Beauty, according to the value system, is not optional. It is a form of currency, a type of power, a social necessity. Let's meet one of the most famous victims of Renaissance cosmetics, Queen Elizabeth I of England. According to historical accounts compiled by biographer Anna Whitelock, Elizabeth's cosmetic use became increasingly heavy as she aged, creating what courtiers called her mask of youth. The Queen, according to those who saw her up close, applied Ceres so thickly that her face looked like painted wood. Ambassadors and visitors, according to their written reports, described how the makeup cracked when she smiled or spoke, creating fissures in the white surface. Think about Elizabeth's situation, according to political realities analysed by historian Susan Doran. Elizabeth ruled as an unmarried woman in a world that didn't believe women could or should rule. Her appearance, according to her own understanding of power politics, was crucial to maintaining authority. She cultivated an image of eternal youth and beauty as part of her political identity, the Virgin Queen who never aged, never weakened. According to portraits commissioned throughout her reign, she insisted on being depicted with smooth, unlined, impossibly youthful skin, even as she entered her 60s. According to eyewitness accounts, the reality behind the makeup was horrifying. Elizabeth's skin, according to those rare individuals allowed to see her without cosmetics, was deeply scarred from decades of Serous use. She'd survived smallpox in 1562, which left her face pockmarked. According to her response, she used even heavier cosmetics to cover the scarring. The lead destroyed what remained of her natural skin. According to descriptions from her final years, her face was so damaged that the Serous application required a foundation layer of egg whites just to create a surface the lead paste could adhere to. Elizabeth's teeth, according to visitors' accounts compiled by historians, deteriorated catastrophically. By her 60s, according to German visitor Paul Hensner, who saw her in 1598, her teeth were very black, and she had significant gaps where teeth had fallen out. Lead poisoning, according to modern dental research, causes severe gum disease and tooth loss. Elizabeth's famous vanity about her appearance, according to historical interpretation, became increasingly desperate as the cosmetics designed to preserve beauty actively destroyed it. According to the tragic irony, Elizabeth lived to 69, a remarkable age for her era, but modern forensic analysis suggests she suffered terribly from chronic lead poisoning. The famous portraits showing her pale perfection, according to their historical purpose, were propaganda covering a painful reality of deteriorating health and ruined skin, caused by the very cosmetics meant to create the image they projected. Now let's examine an even more tragic case, Lady Maria Coventry, an 18th century victim whose story illustrates the full horror of cosmetic poisoning. According to accounts compiled by historian Kendra Van Cleve, Maria Coventry was celebrated as one of the great beauties of Georgian England. She married the Earl of Coventry in 1752 and became a leader of London fashion. Her beauty, according to contemporary accounts, was so remarkable that crowds gathered just to catch a glimpse of her. Maria, according to her beauty routine described in letters and memoirs, used Serous and Mercury cosmetics extremely heavily, more heavily than most women of her class. The social pressure, according to historians, was intense. As a famous beauty, she felt obligated to maintain her appearance at the highest level. Other women copied her style. Men wrote poetry about her. Her entire identity, according to the social construction of her life, revolved around her extraordinary beauty. According to medical understanding now, Maria was poisoning herself catastrophically. The heavy metals, according to the documented progression of her symptoms, destroyed her skin, her teeth, her internal organs. By her mid-20s, according to eyewitness accounts, her face was becoming visibly damaged. The skin that had been celebrated for its perfection was scarring, discoloring. She applied even heavier makeup to cover the damage. Her husband, George Coventry, according to correspondence and contemporary accounts analysed by historians, understood the cosmetics were killing her. He begged her to stop. According to some accounts, he even tried to physically prevent her from applying the deadly pastes. She refused. According to the tragic logic of her situation, she believed she couldn't appear in society without the cosmetics, and appearing in society was her entire purpose in life. Being a ruined beauty was worse, according to her calculation, than being a dead beauty. Think about what this reveals about the power of beauty standards. Maria Coventry, according to modern psychological analysis, was so trapped by expectations about appearance that she literally chose death over the shame of not being beautiful. According to historians studying gender and power in Georgian England, this wasn't madness. It was a rational response to a system where women's value and identity came almost entirely from their physical appearance. Maria died in 1760 at age 27. According to death records, the cause was listed as consumption, but according to modern medical analysis of the described symptoms, she died from heavy metal poisoning. The toxins she'd applied to her face for years, according to the pathology of lead and mercury poisoning, had destroyed her liver, kidneys, and probably caused severe anemia and neurological damage. In her final months, according to accounts, her beauty was so destroyed by the cosmetics that she wore a mask in public. The face celebrated as one of the most beautiful in England, according to the final irony, became too horrible to show. Let's examine the specific recipes Renaissance women used to create these deadly cosmetics. According to surviving recipe books analysed by Dr. Di Costanzo, cosmetic preparation was a complex art requiring specific ingredients and careful procedure. The recipes, according to their distribution, passed from mother to daughter, were shared among women friends and were closely guarded secrets. A typical seeress recipe, according to manuscripts like Secreti della Signora Isabella Cortez, 1561, began with lead plates suspended over vinegar in a sealed container. The acetic acid in the vinegar, according to the chemical reaction, corroded the lead, creating white lead carbonate. After several weeks, according to the instructions, the white crust was scraped from the lead, ground into powder, and mixed with water or wine to create a paste. Some recipes, according to variations documented by historians, added egg whites, crushed pearls or other ingredients to improve texture or whiteness. Think about women preparing these cosmetics in their homes. According to descriptions of the process, you are working with toxic materials in an era before safety equipment or understanding of protective measures. You inhale lead dust while grinding the white powder. You handle concentrated lead paste with bare hands. According to modern occupational health standards, every step of this process would require hazmat suits, respirators, and special ventilation. You do it in your bedroom with the windows closed for privacy. Rouge recipes, according to period sources, similarly involved toxic preparation, ground cinnabar. Mercury sulfide, according to cosmetic manuals, was mixed with binding agents like gum arabic, animal fats, or plant oils. Some recipes, according to their claimed enhancement effects, added cochineal, crushed insects producing red dye, sandalwood, Brazil wood, or other colouring agents. The mixture, according to instructions, was applied to cheeks and lips using small sponges or cloths. More elaborate recipes, according to luxury cosmetic preparations, incorporated multiple poisons. According to Caterina Sforza's Experimenti, late 15th century, one skin whitening recipe combined white lead, mercury sublimate, mercuric chloride, and borax. Another recipe, according to the text, used white lead mixed with lemon juice and egg whites, then added mercury and crushed pearls. Each ingredient, according to modern analysis, adds its own type of toxicity. Lip preparations, according to Renaissance recipes, were particularly dangerous. According to cosmetic manuals, vivid red lips required potent dyes. Many recipes, according to their ingredients, used vermilion mercury sulfide, carmine, from crushed cochineal insects, or even more dangerous substances. Some recipes, according to shocking recommendations in period texts, suggested using sulfur or arsenic-based compounds to enhance lip colour. Now, let's discuss another deadly cosmetic practice, using belladonna to make eyes appear large and luminous. According to the practice documented in Italian beauty manuals, women would squeeze drops of belladonna extract into their eyes. Belladonna, according to its botanical name Atropa belladonna, literally means beautiful woman in Italian. The plant was named for its cosmetic use. Meet Lucrezia, a Florentine courtesan around 1520. According to your profession, beauty is your business in the most literal sense. Your income, according to the brutal economics of sex work in Renaissance Italy, depends entirely on your physical attractiveness. You compete with other courtesans for wealthy patrons. Your appearance, according to this competitive marketplace, must be absolutely perfect. According to the beauty ideal, large, bright eyes are essential. You achieve this, according to standard practice, by applying diluted belladonna extract to your eyes before seeing clients. The belladonna, according to its pharmacological action, we now understand, contains atropine and other alkaloids that dilate pupils dramatically. Your eyes, according to the effect, become huge, dark, and supposedly more attractive. Think about what this does to your vision. According to modern ophthalmology, atropine, dilated pupils create several problems. Your eyes, according to the physiology, can't constrict to adjust for bright light, making you extremely light sensitive. Your eyes, according to the effect on focusing, can't accommodate properly, making your vision blurry, especially at close range. Walking around with belladonna, dilated eyes, according to modern understanding, is like walking around with your pupils forcibly held open. Everything is too bright, too blurry, too uncomfortable. But according to the more serious danger, belladonna is systemically toxic. The alkaloids, according to pharmacology, absorb through the highly vascular tissues of the eye. According to modern poison control data, belladonna poisoning causes rapid heartbeat, dry mouth, fever, confusion, hallucinations, seizures, and death. Renaissance women, according to documented cases in medical texts, experienced all these symptoms. Some died. According to period medical records analyzed by historians, cosmetic poisoning was a recognized cause of death. Let's examine the social and economic forces that made these deadly practices seem rational. According to historian Sarah Matthews, Greco's research on Renaissance beauty culture, cosmetics were not primarily about vanity in the modern sense. They were about power, status, economic survival, and social identity. For aristocratic women, according to the marriage market dynamics, beauty directly determined their marital prospects, and therefore their entire life trajectory. For courtesans like Lucrezia, according to economic realities, beauty was literally their means of survival. Marriage in Renaissance society, according to social historians, was an economic and political transaction. A beautiful daughter, according to the family calculation, could secure a more advantageous marriage, creating alliances and bringing prestige. Parents, according to account books and correspondence, invested heavily in their daughters' appearances. Expensive clothing, jewelry, and cosmetics were seen as investments that would pay returns through good marriages. According to the tragedy of this system, the cosmetics that were supposed to secure good marriages often made women less healthy, less fertile, more likely to miscarry. Lead poisoning, according to modern medical research, causes reproductive problems. Mercury exposure, according to toxicology studies, increases miscarriage risk and can cause birth defects. Women poisoning themselves to become marriageable, according to the bitter irony, were simultaneously making themselves less able to fulfill the primary function of a wife producing healthy heirs. For women past their youth, according to social pressures analysed by historians, cosmetics served a different but equally desperate purpose. Aging, according to Renaissance attitudes, was seen as a kind of failure for women. Men aging, according to the double standard, gained dignity and authority. Women aging, according to cultural expectations, simply became irrelevant. Cosmetics, according to this framework, were a way to fight against the terrifying loss of all social power that came with female aging. Think about a 45-year-old noblewoman in this context. Your children, according to your life stage, are grown. Your husband, according to statistical likelihood, may have died. leaving you a widow. Your beauty, according to social consensus, is fading. Your relevance, according to how the system measures female value, is disappearing. Cosmetics, according to your calculation, offer a chance to remain visible, remain valued, remain acknowledged as still mattering in a world that discards aging women. Now let's discuss the medical establishment's response to these toxic cosmetics. According to medical texts from the period analysed by Dr. Loomis, physicians increasingly understood that cosmetics caused health problems, but their ability to effect change was limited by social forces more powerful than medical advice. Italian physician Girolamo Mercurial, according to his 1587 treatise, De Decoration, explicitly warned against lead-based cosmetics. His description of the effects, according to modern medical translation, accurately describes chronic lead poisoning. He notes that cerus causes skin ulceration, gum disease, tooth loss, tremors, and bodily weakness. He recommends, according to his medical advice, that women abandon these dangerous cosmetics entirely. But according to the problem physicians faced, telling women not to use cosmetics was like telling them not to participate in society. Spanish physician Juan Harte, writing in 1575, according to his treatise on human nature, understood the bind. Women, according to his analysis, knew the cosmetics were harmful. They used them anyway because social consequences of not using them were worse than health consequences of using them. Physicians, according to Harte's observation, were powerless against social forces that made poisoning oneself seem reasonable. Some physicians, according to an alternative approach, tried to develop safer cosmetics. According to recipes in medical texts, they formulated whitening pastes using less toxic ingredients, crushed pearls, rice powder, wheat flour, bismuth. But according to the problem, these alternatives didn't work as well. Lead cerus, according to its unique properties, created an opaque white surface that covered blemishes better than any alternative. Women, according to their practical assessment, continued using the deadly but effective formulations. The Church, according to religious positions on cosmetics documented by historians, took various stances. Some religious leaders, according to sermons and moral treatises, condemned cosmetics as vanity and deceit. Women who painted their faces according to this view were lying about their appearance, which was sinful, but according to the counter-argument made by other religious voices, women needed to maintain their appearance to be good wives, which was a religious duty. The theological debate, according to its outcome, didn't significantly reduce cosmetic use. Let's meet another victim whose story illustrates the medical ignorance of the era. Diane d'Arpessay, mistress of French King Henry II. According to historical accounts, Diane remained remarkably beautiful into her 60s, maintaining a youthful appearance that astonished contemporaries. She died in 1566 at age 66, still celebrated for her beauty. According to the mystery of her preserved looks, historians long wondered how she maintained such extraordinary appearance at an age when most women were considered elderly. Modern forensic analysis, according to research published in 2008 by French scientists, solved the mystery and revealed the price of her beauty. When Diane's remains were exhumed and tested, according to toxicological analysis, they contained extremely high levels of gold. Further research, according to investigators, revealed that Diane regularly consumed a drinkable gold potion believed to preserve youth and beauty. The potion, according to reconstruction of its recipe, contained gold chloride and diethyl ether, both toxic substances. According to the forensic evidence, Diane poisoned herself for decades to maintain her beauty. The gold levels in her bones, according to toxicologists, were extraordinarily high enough to cause serious health problems and possibly contribute to her death. She remained beautiful, according to the terrible bargain, but at the cost of chronic poisoning. Her smooth, youthful skin, according to modern medical understanding, may have been partially due to the way certain metallic poisons affect skin tissue. creating an artificial smoothness by damaging the skin's ability to show normal aging signs. Think about what this reveals. Diane de Pissiers, according to historical consensus, was one of the most powerful women in France. She was intelligent, educated, politically skilled. Yet she, according to her choices, consumed literal poison daily for decades in pursuit of beauty. According to modern analysis of her remains, the poison was killing her. She did it anyway. The power of beauty standards, according to this evidence, was stronger than the survival instinct. Now, let's examine the specific ways these poisons killed. According to modern forensic pathology, heavy metal poisoning causes death through multiple pathways, and Renaissance women experienced all of them. Understanding the specific mechanisms, according to medical education, illustrates just how dangerous these cosmetics were. Lead poisoning, according to toxicology, attacks the nervous system first. Lead, according to its molecular action, interferes with neurotransmitters, disrupts nerve signal transmission, and causes actual structural damage to brain tissue. Early symptoms, according to progression of lead toxicity, include fatigue, irritability, difficulty concentrating. As lead accumulates according to the advancing pathology, symptoms worsen to include memory loss, personality changes, tremors, and eventually seizures. Lead also, according to its effects on blood, prevents proper hemoglobin production. Hemoglobin, according to its function, carries oxygen throughout the body. Inadequate hemoglobin, according to the resulting condition called anemia, means tissues don't get enough oxygen. Renaissance women with chronic lead poisoning, according to this mechanism, were perpetually exhausted, pale, ironically, since they wanted pale skin, weak and breathless. The kidneys, according to lead's toxic action, sustain severe damage. Lead, according to how the body attempts to clear it, gets filtered through kidneys. The kidneys, according to the toxic load, become damaged by the constant exposure. Kidney failure, according to the progression in severe cases, causes waste products to accumulate in blood, leading to nausea, vomiting, confusion, and death. Mercury poisoning, according to its mechanisms, primarily attacks the nervous system and kidneys. Mercury, according to neurotoxicology, readily crosses the blood-brain barrier and accumulates in brain tissue. The classic symptoms of mercury poisoning, according to medical texts dating back centuries, include tremors, emotional instability, insomnia, memory problems, and peripheral neuropathy. The phrase "mad as a hatter," according to its origin, comes from the mercury poisoning that hat makers suffered from mercury used in felt processing, the same mercury women applied to their faces. Mercury also, according to its renal toxicity, causes severe kidney damage. The kidneys, according to autopsy findings from mercury-poisoned individuals, show characteristic scarring and dysfunction. Mercury, additionally, according to its effects on the mouth and teeth, causes gingivitis, tooth loss, and excessive salivation, symptoms Renaissance women definitely experienced but attributed to other causes. Arsenic, according to its toxic action, disrupts cellular energy production. Arsenic, according to biochemistry, interferes with critical enzymes involved in cellular respiration. Cells, according to this disruption, can't produce energy efficiently. The body, according to systemic arsenic poisoning, experiences multi-organ failure as tissues die from lack of energy. Symptoms, according to toxicology texts, include severe gastrointestinal distress, heart problems, neuropathy, and eventually death from cardiovascular or respiratory failure. Think about Renaissance women experiencing these symptoms without understanding their cause. According to their framework, they're suffering from separate illnesses, humoral imbalances, uterine disorders, melancholy, the effects of childbearing. According to physicians treating them, the cosmetics might be suspected, but the specific mechanisms of toxicity are unknown. Treatments, according to period medicine, include bloodletting, purges, and herbal remedies. none of which address the actual problem, which is chronic poisoning from cosmetics applied daily for years. Let's examine how cosmetic poisoning intersected with other health challenges Renaissance women faced. According to demographic research by historian Walter Scheidel, women in Renaissance Europe faced numerous health risks, complications from repeated pregnancies, infectious diseases, poor nutrition. Adding chronic heavy metal poisoning, according to the compounding effects, made an already dangerous health environment even deadlier. Pregnancy and cosmetics, according to modern medical understanding, created a particularly toxic combination. Lead and mercury, according to reproductive toxicology, cross the placenta freely. A pregnant woman using cerus and mercury rouge, according to the pharmacokinetics, is directly poisoning her developing fetus. The metals, according to their effects on fetal development, cause miscarriages, stillbirths, premature births, and birth defects. According to tragic irony, women often increased cosmetic use during pregnancy. Social expectations, according to historians studying Renaissance pregnancy customs, required women to maintain their appearance even while pregnant. Morning sickness, according to the condition's effects, often made women feel and look unwell. Cosmetics, according to the social calculation, seemed necessary to maintain acceptable appearance during pregnancy. So women, according to this pattern, applied even heavier poison precisely when they were most vulnerable, and when the poison could harm not just themselves but their unborn children. The cumulative effects, according to epidemiological analysis, must have been significant. High infant mortality in Renaissance Europe, according to demographic data, had many causes: infectious disease, malnutrition, accidents. But, according to modern understanding of prenatal lead and mercury exposure, cosmetic-related fetal poisoning must have contributed. How many miscarriages, according to speculation based on toxicology, were caused by the mother's cosmetics? How many children were born with developmental problems, according to the hidden factor, because of prenatal heavy metal exposure? The numbers, according to historical records, are impossible to determine, but the biological mechanisms are clear. Now let's explore the international trade in cosmetic ingredients, because the deadly cosmetics were big business. According to economic historians studying Renaissance commerce, cosmetics represented a significant portion of luxury goods trade. Lead for cerus, according to trade records, was imported from Spain and England. Mercury, according to commercial routes, came from mercury mines in Spain and Slovenia. Exotic ingredients, according to their sources, arrived from around the Mediterranean and beyond. Meet Antonio, a Venetian merchant in 1580 dealing in cosmetic materials. According to your business, you import lead from English mines, mercury from Spanish sources, rare pigments from the East. Your clients, according to your customer base, include noblewomen, courtesans, professional cosmetic makers. Your profits, according to your account books, are substantial. The demand for cosmetic ingredients, according to market forces, seems unlimited. Think about the moral position of merchants like Antonio. According to modern ethical standards, you are selling poison to women who will use it to destroy their health. But according to Renaissance commercial ethics, you are simply meeting market demand. Women want these products according to their requests. You supply them according to business logic. The harm, according to your potential reasoning, is their choice and their responsibility. Some merchants, according to commercial practices, adulterated their cosmetic ingredients to increase profits. Cerus, according to quality variations, could be extended with cheaper white powders like chalk or rice powder. Pure white lead cerus, according to its cost, was expensive. Adding cheaper fillers according to economic incentive increased profit margins. Ironically, according to modern toxicology, the adulterated cosmetics were probably less toxic than pure versions. The chalk or rice powder diluted the lead concentration. Women buying premium unadulterated cerus according to the bitter reality, we're getting a more effective but more deadly product. The cosmetics market, according to its structure, included various quality tiers. The highest quality Cirrus, according to luxury formulations, was Venetian Cirrus, especially pure, white, and expensive. Mid-range products, according to their marketing, claimed various special ingredients or preparation methods. Cheap cosmetics, according to options for less wealthy women, might be poorly made, heavily adulterated, or even fake. But according to the toxic irony, even fake cosmetics usually contained lead, just in unpredictable amounts with unreliable quality control. Let's discuss cosmetic recipes and their transmission as a form of female knowledge. According to historian Elaine Leong's research on recipe books, cosmetic recipes were valuable information passed between women, copied into personal manuscripts, and guarded as family secrets. Recipe books, according to their contents, mixed culinary recipes, medical remedies, and cosmetic formulations together, reflecting how Renaissance women managed household health and beauty as integrated concerns. According to surviving recipe collections like that of Lady Grace Mildmay, aristocratic Englishwoman whose manuscript dates to around 1600, cosmetic recipes are detailed and specific. One skin whitening recipe, according to her instructions, requires white lead ground with rose water mixed with egg whites and sweet almonds. Another recipe, according to her text, combines mercury sublimate with lemon juice for removing spots and freckles. These recipes, according to their inclusion in Lady Mildmay's personal manuscript, were valued knowledge worth preserving. The recipes, according to their transmission patterns, passed through female networks. Mothers, according to their duties, taught daughters beauty practices. Friends, according to social bonds, shared recipes they found effective. Servants, according to their access to aristocratic practices, brought cosmetic knowledge from wealthy houses to less privileged families. The deadly information, according to these networks, spread throughout female society. Some recipe books, according to their publication, became commercially printed. Books like Giovan Battista della Porta's Magii Naturalis, 1558, according to its cosmetic sections, provided recipes to a broader audience. Other texts, according to their format, were beauty manuals, specifically for women. These books, according to their impact, standardized cosmetic recipes and spreading dangerous practices even more widely. Think about what this reveals about gender and knowledge. According to social structure, women had limited access to formal education. University training, according to its restrictions, was closed to women. Medical knowledge, according to its gatekeeping, was largely male-controlled. But cosmetic knowledge, according to its existence in female networks, was one area where women were the experts, passing down formulations and techniques through generations. Tragically, according to what they were teaching each other, the knowledge was often lethal. Now, let's meet Elizabeth Bathory, though her story is more legend than confirmed fact. According to popular tales that grew after her death, Bathory bathed in the blood of murdered servant girls to maintain her beauty. According to modern historical analysis by historians like Raymond McNally, the blood-bathing stories are probably fabrications added to her legend after her conviction for murdering servants. But according to what we do know, Bathory was fanatical about beauty and used a variety of cosmetics. What is relevant to our exploration, according to the cultural context, is what the blood-bathing legend reveals about Renaissance beauty culture. The story, according to its symbolic power, tapped into existing anxieties about the lengths women would go to for beauty, that people readily believed Bathory would murder for beauty ingredients, according to the legend's believability, shows how beauty's pursuit was already understood to be potentially deadly, even murderous. The real Bathory, according to documented evidence, owned numerous cosmetic recipes and employed servants specifically to prepare beauty treatments. Her inventories, according to castle records, included large quantities of cosmetic ingredients. Whether she actually used virgin blood, according to skeptical historians, is unlikely, but according to what she definitely did use, It included the standard toxic Renaissance cosmetics, lead serous, mercury preparations, arsenic compounds. The symbolic connection between blood and beauty, according to folklore and cultural analysis, appears in various Renaissance contexts. Young blood, according to beliefs documented by historians, was thought to have rejuvenating properties. Some cosmetic recipes, according to their shocking ingredients, actually did call for blood, typically animal blood. But the belief in blood's beautifying power was real. The cosmetic industry's willingness to kill, according to the Bathory legend's resonance, seemed plausible because it was killing, just through poison rather than murder. Let's examine resistance to cosmetic culture from within female communities. According to moral writers and religious reformers, some women's voices argued against the dangerous beauty practices. But, according to the difficulty of this position, speaking against cosmetics meant challenging fundamental aspects of Renaissance femininity and female social power. Modesta Pozzo, according to her 1600 dialogue, The Worth of Women, critiqued cosmetic culture through fictional female characters, debating women's worth. One character, according to the text, argues that cosmetics are evidence of women's vanity and weakness. Another character, according to her counter-argument, points out that men create the beauty standards women are judged by, then criticize women for meeting those standards. The debate, according to its complexity, reveals how trapped women were, damned for using cosmetics, damned for not using them. Some religious women, according to their choices, rejected cosmetics as part of rejecting worldly vanity. Nuns, according to their vows, weren't supposed to use cosmetics, but according to some convent records analysed by historians, even nuns sometimes struggled with the prohibition. The pressure to conform to beauty ideals, according to its power, reached even into religious communities, supposedly separate from worldly concerns. Protestant reformers, according to their critique of Catholic culture, often attacked cosmetics as evidence of Catholic corruption and excess. English Puritan writers, according to their moral treatises, railed against women's painted faces as signs of sexual immorality and deceit. But, according to the limited impact even in Protestant countries, cosmetic use continued. The social forces demanding beauty, according to their strength, overwhelmed religious prohibitions. Think about a woman in this era trying to resist cosmetics. According to your social reality, you understand the cosmetics are dangerous. Perhaps you've seen other women sicken from them. Perhaps your husband or a physician has warned you. But according to your assessment of consequences, appearing in society with a natural, unpainted face means being judged as ugly, poor, unfashionable, failed as a woman. Your marriage prospects, according to this calculation if you are unmarried, will suffer. Your social standing, according to this reasoning, will decline. Your husband's reputation, according to potential logic if you are married, will be damaged by having a wife who doesn't maintain proper appearance. The rational choice, according to this terrible calculus, is to keep poisoning yourself. Now let's examine how beauty standards and cosmetic practices varied across Renaissance Europe, because while the basic pattern was similar, regional differences reveal interesting cultural variations. According to research by historian Evelyn Welch, Italian Renaissance beauty culture emphasized a very specific aesthetic: pale white skin, golden blonde hair, and fuller figures. Spanish beauty ideals, according to their distinct characteristics, valued similar paleness, but with different hair and body standards. English beauty ideals, according to their development, were heavily influenced by royal preferences, particularly Elizabeth's distinctive look. In Italy, according to beauty manuals and portraits, the ideal woman had skin as white as marble, hair as golden as sunlight, and figures that showed wealth and health. Venetian women, according to period accounts by foreign visitors, were particularly dedicated to beauty practices. They spent hours, according to descriptions, sitting in specially designed rooftop boxes with wide-brimmed hats that shaded faces while exposing hair to sun, trying to bleach their hair golden blonde. They applied cerus so heavily, according to visitors' shocked observations that their faces looked like masks. Spanish beauty ideals, according to their distinctive features, included even paler skin than Italian preferences, an almost translucent whiteness that suggested high birth and no manual labour exposure to sun. Spanish women, according to Andalusian beauty manuals, used cerus, but also bled themselves regularly to achieve a fashionably anemic paleness. The practice of deliberate bloodletting for beauty, according to medical historians, combined health theory with beauty practice in ways that made women even more fragile. In England, according to Elizabeth I's influence, red hair became fashionable when it was naturally the Queen's colour. Women, according to their attempts to achieve the look, used hair dyes containing lead and sulphur. The skin ideal, according to English beauty standards, was similarly pale as elsewhere, but with an emphasis on natural-looking radiance rather than flat white surface. This ideal, according to the tragic irony, was impossible to achieve. Truly natural, healthy skin required, not using the very cosmetics the standard demanded. French beauty culture, according to its particular characteristics, emphasized sophisticated artificiality. French women, according to court observers, didn't pretend their beauty was natural. They used cosmetics, according to French aesthetic philosophy, as an art form, creating elaborate looks that were obviously constructed. The French court, according to memoirs and correspondence, was a theatre of appearance where women's faces were productions, performances of femininity. According to the regional trade patterns these differences created, certain cities became known for specific cosmetic specialties. Venice, according to its reputation, produced the best cerus. Spanish mercury preparations, according to commercial fame, were considered superior. French cosmetic artistry, according to export markets, made Parisian rouge and perfumes highly desirable. The cosmetics trade, according to its sophistication, was an international business with regional branding and specialization. Deadly products marketed with the same commercial strategies as any luxury goods. Let's discuss a fascinating wrinkle in cosmetic culture: men's use of cosmetics. According to evidence compiled by historians, while cosmetics were primarily associated with women, elite men in Renaissance Europe also used them, though less extensively. Male courtiers, according to fashion at various courts, wore cerus foundation, rouge, and lip colour. The practice, according to its justification, was about court fashion rather than beauty in the feminine sense, men maintaining elegant appearance appropriate to their status. King Henry III of France, according to historical accounts, was notorious for his cosmetic use. Contemporary observers, according to their shocked descriptions, described him appearing in public with heavy white makeup, ruffed cheeks, and elaborate hairstyles. His enemies, according to political attacks, used his cosmetic use as evidence of effeminacy and unfitness to rule. The cosmetics, according to historical analysis of Henry's health, probably contributed to his chronic health problems. Male courtiers' cosmetic use, according to its patterns, was often to cover blemishes, scars, or smallpox marks rather than to achieve an entire aesthetic of beauty. But according to the toxic reality, lead cerus applied to cover a scar-damaged skin, just as much whether applied to male or female face. Men using cosmetics, according to the same mechanisms, poison themselves the same way women did, just usually less heavily, and with less social requirement to do so. The gender difference, according to social analysis, was about obligation versus choice. Men could choose cosmetics for fashion or vanity. Women, according to social structure, had cosmetics imposed as a necessity for social participation. Men faced criticism for too much cosmetic use. Women faced criticism for too little. The double standard, according to its operation, meant women were trapped by requirements men could treat as option. Now let's explore the economic class dimensions of cosmetic poisoning. According to social historians, while beauty standards applied to all women, the actual practice of heavy cosmetic use was primarily aristocratic. Expensive cosmetics, according to their cost, were luxury goods. Poor women, according to economic realities, couldn't afford Venetian cerus, Spanish mercury rouge, or imported rare ingredients. They, according to their alternatives, used cheaper versions or went without. The class dimension, according to the bitter irony, meant that wealthy women poisoned themselves more thoroughly than poor women. Rich women, according to their access to the best cosmetics, got purer, more concentrated toxins. They could afford to apply cosmetics daily, according to their routines, rather than only for special occasions. Their vanity rooms, according to inventories of noble estates, contained extensive collections of cosmetic materials. Wealth, according to this perverse outcome, bought better tools for self-poisoning. Poor women, according to their limited cosmetic use, were probably healthier in this one specific way: less chronic heavy metal poisoning from cosmetics. But according to the complexity of health factors, they faced many other health challenges that aristocratic women avoided. Malnutrition, according to diet differences, was common among the poor. Hard physical labor, according to class differences in lifestyle, damaged poor women's bodies in ways rich women didn't experience. The cosmetic advantage poor women had, according to overall health outcomes, was offset by numerous disadvantages. Middle-class women, according to their position, faced perhaps the worst bind. They, according to social aspirations, wanted to emulate aristocratic beauty standards. They, according to economic capacity, could afford some cosmetics, but not the most expensive, safest, or rather least deadly preparations. They, according to social pressure, felt obligated to use cosmetics to signal respectability and social standing, but according to their budgets, they often bought cheaper, adulterated, potentially even more dangerous versions from less reputable sources. The cosmetics market, according to its structure, had numerous tiers. Aristocratic women, according to their purchases, bought from reputable sources, known makers, tested products, expensive but consistent. Middle-class women, according to their shopping, might buy from apothecaries, travelling merchants, or local makers. Poor women, according to their limited options, might buy cheap cosmetics of entirely unknown composition. At every price point, according to the fundamental problem, the cosmetics contained poison. But the cheapest versions, according to lack of quality control, were unpredictable in their toxicity. Think about a merchant's wife in this context. You, according to your social position, want to look prosperous and well-bred. Your husband's business reputation, according to social perception, is partly reflected in your appearance. You can't afford the Venetian cerus that costs as much as silver. You, according to your solution, buy a cheaper alternative from a local maker who claims it is just as good. The product, according to what you don't know, might contain less lead and more chalk, or it might contain lead plus other toxic additives the maker uses to achieve whiteness cheaply. You, according to your risk, are gambling with your health, using a product with no quality standards. Let's examine the beauty industry's infrastructure in Renaissance cities. According to economic records, major cities had specialized cosmetics makers, vendors, and consultants. Venice, Florence, Paris, London, these cities, according to their commercial sophistication, supported professional cosmetics industries. The industry, according to its structure, included various specialized roles, all profiting from women's desperation to meet beauty standards. Perfumers, according to their trade, were often also cosmetics makers. Their shops, according to inventories and descriptions, sold not just fragrances but also cerus, rouge, lip colours, hair dyes, and beauty preparations. Some perfumers, according to their reputation, became famous for particular formulations. Women, according to shopping patterns, would travel across the city to buy from a perfumer known for especially fine cerus or rouge. Bathhouses, according to their services beyond bathing, offered beauty treatments. Female attendants, according to their skills, would apply cosmetics, style hair, remove unwanted hair, and provide other beauty services. Bathhouses, according to their social function, were places where women of similar class might gather, share beauty tips, and compare products and techniques. The information exchange, according to its effects, spread both knowledge and misinformation about cosmetics. Private beauty consultants, according to their existence in elite circles, served wealthy women. These consultants, according to their expertise, might be former servants who'd learned aristocratic beauty techniques, or women who'd built reputations for skill. They would come to a noblewoman's home according to their service, bringing cosmetics and applying them with expert technique. Their knowledge, according to its value, was professional skill that commanded good pay. Apothecaries, according to their broader role, sold cosmetics alongside medicines. The boundary between medicine and cosmetics, according to Renaissance thinking, was blurry. Both were about managing the body. Both used similar ingredients. An apothecary, according to his knowledge, understood how to compound preparations, measure ingredients, achieve desired consistencies. His cosmetics, according to quality, were probably more reliably formulated than products from random vendors, though still poisonous. Street vendors, according to urban markets, sold cheaper cosmetics to less wealthy customers. These vendors, according to their business model, bought cosmetic materials in bulk, mixed their own formulations, and sold at lower prices. Quality control, according to its absence, was minimal. A street vendor's cerus, according to its unknown composition, could be anything white pure lead, adulterated lead, chalk with a little lead added, or creative substitutes that might be more or less toxic than real cerus. Think about the economic incentives this system created. Producers, according to their profit motive, wanted to make cosmetics as cheaply as possible while maintaining enough quality that customers kept buying. Lead cerus, according to its performance, worked better than alternatives, provided superior coverage, stayed on better, created the desired deathly white appearance. The most toxic product, according to market forces, was also the best product in terms of cosmetic effectiveness. Economic incentives, according to this structure, aligned toward maintaining toxic formulations. Let's explore the role of literature and poetry in reinforcing these deadly beauty standards. According to Renaissance love poetry, analysed by literary historian Nancy Vickers, poets created impossible ideals that women felt compelled to match. The beloved woman, according to Petrarchan conventions, had skin whiter than snow, cheeks like roses, lips like rubies. Real women, according to their response to these literary standards, tried to achieve these impossibilities through cosmetics. Francesco Petrarch's sonnets to Laura, according to their influence across Europe, established a beauty template that dominated for centuries. Laura's skin, according to poetic description, was alabaster white. Her cheeks, according to the verses, showed natural colour like dawn. Women reading these poems, according to their internalization of standards, understood that being worthy of love required looking like Laura. The problem, according to biological reality, was that real human skin doesn't look like alabaster, and natural cheek colour doesn't glow like dawn. Achieving the poetic ideal, according to the only available method, required cosmetics. Male poets, according to their contradictory positions, praised natural beauty while describing beauties that could only be achieved artificially. English poet Edmund Spenser, according to his Fairy Queen, celebrated natural beauty uncorrupted by art. Yet the beauties he described, according to their specific features, had impossible perfection. Pure white skin unmarked by any blemish, perfectly coloured cheeks, flawless complexions. Women, according to the bind this created, understood that natural beauty meant skin that looked naturally perfect, which required unnatural intervention. Think about the psychological impact of this literary culture. You, according to your education, if you are an aristocratic woman, have been taught to read. You read poetry, according to your cultural participation, that tells you ideal women have pure white skin and rosy cheeks. You look in your mirror according to your reality check and see human skin, perhaps with freckles, uneven tone, visible pores, normal imperfections. The gap between poetic ideal and mirror reality according to its message, tells you that you are failing as a woman. Cosmetics, according to the apparent solution, offer a way to close that gap. Some women, according to documented responses, wrote back against these impossible standards. English poet Emilia Lania, according to her 1611 poem Salve Deus Rex Judiorum, challenged beauty standards and defended women's worth beyond appearance. Italian writer Moderata Fonte, according to her dialogues, had female characters critique the tyranny of beauty expectations. But according to the limited impact, these resistant voices couldn't overcome centuries of accumulated literary idealization of impossible beauty. The contradiction, according to its operation, was that the same male writers who created impossible beauty standards then criticized women for trying to achieve them through cosmetics. Renaissance moralists, according to their texts analyzed by historians, condemned women's use of cosmetics as deception and vanity. Yet these same writers, according to their poetry and prose, praised beauty that was literally impossible without cosmetics. Women, according to this impossible bind, were criticized for failing to be naturally beautiful and criticized for using artificial means to achieve beauty. Now, let's examine the transition period when cosmetic practices began to change. According to historical records, the shift away from the deadliest cosmetics happened gradually over the 18th and 19th centuries through multiple converging forces. Medical knowledge, according to its advancement, made the specific toxic mechanisms undeniable. Chemical science, according to its development, created alternative cosmetic ingredients. Social changes, according to their impact, began to shift beauty standards away from the extreme paleness that required the most toxic cosmetics. The Enlightenment, according to intellectual historians, brought new approaches to understanding the body and health. Physicians in the 18th century, according to their training, had better understanding of chemical toxicity than their Renaissance predecessors. Italian physician Bernardino Ramazzini, according to his 1713 treatise De Morbis Artificum, diseases of workers systematically documented occupational poisoning, including among cosmetics workers. His descriptions, according to modern medical analysis, clearly identify lead and mercury poisoning. French chemist Nicolas Lemairy, according to his widely read Cause de Chimie, first published in 1675, provided chemical analyses of cosmetic ingredients. His work, according to its distribution, gave educated readers access to information about what was actually in their cosmetics. Lead's toxicity, according to Lemairy's explanations, became harder to deny, yet according to the persistence of practice, women continued using lead cosmetics for another century. The shift, according to economic historians, also involved the development of alternative cosmetic bases. Bismuth, according to its introduction as a cosmetic ingredient in the early 18th century, offered a white powder that was less immediately toxic than lead. Zinc oxide, according to its use from the mid-negative 1/8th century onward, provided another alternative. These substitutes, according to their performance, didn't work quite as well as lead cerus. They were less opaque, less long-lasting, but they, according to their crucial advantage, were less likely to kill you. Meet Charlotte, an English gentlewoman in 1780. According to your generation, you are living in a transitional moment. Your grandmother, according to family stories, used heavy lead cerus daily and died at 42 with ruined skin and mysterious tremors. Your mother, according to her compromise, used cerus occasionally for special events, but tried bismuth-based powders for daily use. You, according to your choices, have options your grandmother didn't. Chemists sell bismuth powders, according to advertising, as safe cosmetics compared to the old lead formulations. But according to the complexity, the transition wasn't clean or simple. Bismuth-based cosmetics, according to their cost, were more expensive than lead cerus. Lead cosmetics, according to their continued availability, remained on the market well into the 19th century. Poor women, according to economic necessity, often continued using the cheaper, more dangerous products. Middle-class women, according to their varied practices, mixed old and new perhaps bismuth for daily use, but cerous for important occasions when they needed better coverage. The 19th century, according to social historians, brought additional pressure for cosmetic reform through changing beauty ideals. The Romantic movement, according to aesthetic shifts, emphasized natural beauty over artificial perfection. The Victorian era, according to its moral codes, officially condemned obvious cosmetic use as immodest. Women, according to Victorian standards, were supposed to appear naturally beautiful, which often meant using cosmetics but pretending not to. The Victorian cosmetic paradox, according to its operation, was in some ways worse than Renaissance honesty. Renaissance women, according to their culture, openly used cosmetics and didn't pretend otherwise. Victorian women, according to social codes, had to use cosmetics to meet beauty standards, but had to hide all evidence of using them. The cosmetics, according to this requirement, needed to be invisible to make skin look naturally perfect. This actually, according to beauty industry historians, drove innovation in cosmetic formulation toward more subtle, sophisticated products. Scientific advancement, according to its accelerating pace in the 19th century, made cosmetic toxicity increasingly undeniable. Improved chemical analysis, according to laboratory techniques, could precisely measure heavy metal content. Medical understanding of toxicology, according to its systematization, clearly linked specific symptoms to specific poisons. Physicians, according to their professional consensus by the mid-19th century, uniformly warned against lead and mercury cosmetics. Yet, according to the stunning persistence, women continued dying from cosmetic poisoning well into the Victorian era. According to medical journals from the 1860s analysed by historians, doctors still reported cases of women suffering lead poisoning from face powders. Coroners' reports, according to death records, still listed cosmetic poisoning as cause of death. The knowledge was available, according to information accessibility, but behaviour change lagged far behind. What finally changed the system, according to historical analysis, wasn't just medical knowledge or safer alternatives. It required legal regulation. The first meaningful cosmetic safety laws, according to their implementation, didn't appear until the 20th century. The United States, according to regulatory history, didn't have comprehensive cosmetic safety regulation until the 1938 Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. Britain, according to its timeline, regulated cosmetics under the 1925 Food and Drugs Act. For centuries, according to the absence of legal protection, women had no assurance that cosmetics were safe. The cosmetics industry, according to its resistance to regulation, fought safety requirements. Manufacturers, according to their business interests, didn't want to reformulate products, didn't want safety testing requirements, didn't want to admit their products were dangerous. The battles over cosmetic regulation in the early 20th century, according to historical accounts, eerily paralleled modern fights over product safety regulation. Industry, according to its consistent position, claimed regulation was unnecessary interference with commerce. Consumer advocates, according to their evidence, documented continued poisoning and death. Think about the timeline. Renaissance women started dying from lead cosmetics in the 1400s. Physicians began warning about the dangers in the 1500s. Alternative cosmetic bases became available in the 1700s. Medical consensus on toxicity was established in the 1800s. Legal regulation finally arrived in the 1900s. According to this 5-century gap, women were dying from a known preventable cause for 500 years before society took meaningful action to stop it. That gap, according to what it reveals, shows how little women's health and safety were prioritized. Now, let's examine the specific scientific understanding of cosmetic poisoning that emerged. According to medical research compiled by Dr. Alastair Hunter in his Analysis of Historical Toxicology, 18th and 19th century physicians developed increasingly sophisticated understanding of how specific cosmetics poisoned specific body systems. They couldn't yet identify the exact cellular mechanisms according to limitations of their era's science, but they clearly recognized cause and effect relationships. French physician Samuel Auguste Tissot, according to his 1760 treatise De la Santé des gens de lettres, warned specifically about lead cosmetics' effects on the nervous system. His descriptions, according to their clinical accuracy, match modern understanding of lead neurotoxicity, tremors, muscle weakness, cognitive impairment, personality changes. Tissot recommended, according to his medical advice, complete cessation of lead cosmetic use. His patients, according to recorded outcomes, rarely followed this advice. German physician Samuel Hahnemann, according to his 1786 essay on a new principle, conducted experiments documenting how cosmetic metals absorbed through skin. He applied lead compounds to his own skin, according to his self-experimentation, and documented the symptoms that developed. His work, according to its scientific contribution, proved that lead could poison through dermal absorption, not just through ingestion. This evidence, according to its clarity, should have ended lead cosmetic use. It didn't. The persistence, according to sociological analysis, came from the power of beauty standards versus the weakness of individual medical advice. A doctor, according to his individual authority, could tell one woman to stop using Cirrus, but that woman, according to her social reality, would then face mockery and social exclusion for her natural unpainted face. The doctor, according to his limitations, couldn't change the social system that punished women for not using cosmetics. So women, according to their rational calculation in an irrational system, continued to poison themselves. Let's meet one more victim whose death finally helped change laws. Meet Kitty, a 17-year-old factory girl in Manchester, England, in 1860. According to your economic situation, you work 12 hours daily in a cotton mill for wages barely enough to survive. You, according to your one luxury, save money each week to buy face powder from a street vendor. The powder, according to its advertisement, promises to make your skin pure white like a lady's. You dream, according to your hopes, that looking more refined might help you attract a better husband and escape factory work. The powder, according to chemical analysis conducted after your death, contains white lead at concentrations high enough to be instantly recognizable as dangerous by any trained chemist. But you, according to your lack of education and information access, have no way to know this. The vendor, according to his sales pitch, assured you it was safe, French powder used by ladies of quality. You trusted him, according to your faith in his claims, and applied the powder daily to your face and neck. According to medical records preserved in Manchester hospitals, you developed symptoms within weeks. Severe stomach pains, according to your complaints to the factory nurse, made it hard to work. Headaches, according to your suffering, left you crying at your machine. Your hands, according to visible tremors, couldn't work as quickly, leading to reduced pay. After 2 months, according to hospital admission records, you collapsed at work and were taken to the infirmary. The physician who treated you, according to his case notes, immediately suspected lead poisoning when he saw the white powder still on your skin. Chemical testing, according to laboratory analysis, confirmed catastrophic lead levels in your body. The doctor, according to his report, documented the case as another preventable death from cosmetic poisoning. You died, according to death records, 4 days after admission. You were 17 years old. Your death, according to its impact, became one of many cases compiled by reformers advocating for cosmetic safety regulation. The Manchester Medical Society, according to their campaign, used cases like yours to pressure Parliament for legislation. The Times newspaper, according to its coverage, published an editorial about the scandal of poison cosmetics sold to working girls. Your death, according to its contribution to change, helped build momentum that eventually led to regulation. But according to the tragedy, your death was unnecessary. The knowledge that lead cosmetics were deadly, according to its availability, had existed for 300 years. The safer alternatives, according to their existence, were already on the market. You died, according to the reason, because profit motives and lack of regulation allowed vendors to sell poison to girls who couldn't afford safer alternatives. You died, according to the structural cause, because women's health wasn't deemed important enough to regulate. Now, let's discuss attempts at cosmetic reform and alternative beauty standards. According to moral literature from the period, some voices argued for natural beauty and against cosmetic artifice. But according to the limited success of these arguments, social forces maintaining cosmetic use were too powerful to overcome. Italian poet Agnolo Fianzuola, in his 1548 dialogue on the beauty of women, according to his surprising position, argued for natural beauty and against cosmetics. His ideal woman, according to his descriptions, has beauty that comes from health and nature, not from paint and poison. But according to the reception of his work, it was read more as aesthetic theory than as practical advice. Real women, according to continuing practice, kept using cosmetics. Some medical writers, according to their alternative approach, tried to promote safer beauty practices. Instead of forbidding cosmetics according to this strategy, they recommended less toxic alternatives. Use rice powder instead of lead according to these suggestions. Use beet juice instead of mercury rouge. Use natural plant dyes instead of toxic pigments. But according to the practical problem, the alternatives didn't work as well. Rice powder, according to its coverage, was translucent rather than opaque. Beet juice, according to its staying power, washed off easily. Women, according to their assessment, preferred effective poison to ineffective safety. Now let's explore the role of mirrors in Renaissance cosmetic culture, because the proliferation of mirrors fundamentally changed women's relationships with their own faces. According to historians of material culture, affordable mirrors became widely available in the 16th century due to advances in Venetian glass making. Before this, according to the limitation, most women rarely saw their own faces with any clarity. Polished metal mirrors, according to their poor quality, gave distorted, dim reflections. Water reflections, according to their inadequacy, were even less reliable. The new glass mirrors, according to their impact, were revolutionary and psychologically devastating. For the first time, according to the access they provided, ordinary women could study their own faces in detail. Every imperfection, according to the clear reflection, became visible and therefore became a problem requiring correction. The mirror, according to its function in cosmetic culture, transformed from occasional tool to constant judge. Think about what it means to suddenly see your face clearly for the first time. You, according to this new experience in the 16th century, can now examine every pore, every uneven patch of skin, every freckle, every line. Before the mirror, according to your previous ignorance, you didn't know these imperfections existed. Now, according to the mirror's revelation, you can't unsee them. The mirror, according to its cruel service, shows you everything wrong with your face according to beauty standards. The cosmetics, according to their apparent necessity, promise to fix what the mirror reveals. Wealthy women, according to household inventories, owned multiple mirrors of various sizes. Your dressing room, according to its equipment, if you are an aristocrat, might contain a large standing mirror, hand mirrors of various sizes, and small magnifying mirrors for detailed cosmetic application. You spend hours, according to period accounts, studying your reflection from different angles, in different lights, checking the perfection of your cosmetic application. The mirrors, according to their psychological effect, create an obsessive self-surveillance. Some women, according to documented psychological responses, developed what we would now recognize as body dysmorphic disorder, focused on facial appearance. They saw flaws, according to their distorted perception, that others didn't notice. They applied cosmetics, according to their compulsion, to correct these perceived problems. The cosmetics, according to their toxic effects, created real damage, scars, discoloration, lesions. This real damage, according to the vicious cycle, required more cosmetics to cover, which caused more damage, which required more cosmetics, in an endless loop of self-destruction mediated by the mirror. The mirror market, according to its economics, was intimately connected to the cosmetics market. Mirror makers and cosmetics sellers, according to commercial strategies, often worked together. Buy a fine Venetian mirror, according to the sales pitch, and you'll need the fine cosmetics to match. The mirror, according to its marketing function, created the dissatisfaction that cosmetics promised to resolve. The two industries, according to their mutual benefit, profited from women's insecurity about their appearance. Now let's examine the church's complex and contradictory role in cosmetic culture. According to religious historians, Christian teaching about cosmetics was deeply ambivalent. On one hand, according to theological positions, cosmetics were condemned as vanity, deceit, and rejection of God's creation. On the other hand, according to practical reality, even religious authorities often accommodated cosmetic use among elite women. Early Christian writers, according to their texts, vehemently condemned cosmetics. Tertullian, according to his 2nd century treatise on the apparel of women, declared that women who painted their faces were committing adultery against their own faces and insulting God's handiwork. Similar condemnations, according to their occurrence, appeared throughout medieval and Renaissance religious writing. Cosmetics, according to this moral framework, were associated with prostitution, deceit, and sinful pride. But according to the complexity, actual enforcement of these prohibitions was inconsistent. Noble women, according to their social position, used cosmetics extensively while still being considered virtuous Christians. Queens, according to their cosmetic use, were never condemned by church authorities despite obvious heavy makeup use. The condemnation, according to its selective application, fell more heavily on lower-class women, prostitutes, and women who used cosmetics excessively. Meet Sister Margherita, a nun in Florence around 1580. According to your vows, you've renounced worldly vanity, including cosmetics. Your convent, according to its rules, forbids mirrors, cosmetics, and excessive attention to appearance. You wear simple clothing, according to religious requirements, and keep your hair covered. Your face, according to the ideal, should reflect inner spiritual beauty, not artificial enhancement. But according to reality documented in convent records, even religious communities struggled with beauty culture. Some nuns, according to bishop visitation reports, secretly kept cosmetics. Younger nuns from aristocratic families, according to their difficulty adjusting, sometimes smuggled in mirrors and face powders. The convent, according to its position as refuge from worldly pressures, was supposed to free women from beauty standards. But according to the standard's power, even convent walls couldn't completely keep them out. The church's position, according to its fundamental contradiction, was that women should be modest and avoid vanity, but also that wives should maintain their appearance to please their husbands. This impossible standard, according to its operation, meant women were condemned whether they used cosmetics or not. Use cosmetics, you are vain and sinful. Don't use cosmetics and your husband strays. You've failed your wifely duty. The church, according to this bind, enforced impossible expectations. Some religious reformers, according to their explicit connections, linked cosmetic use to heresy and witchcraft. Women who used elaborate cosmetics, according to some Protestant writers, were suspected of trying to unnaturally maintain youth through demonic pacts. The cosmetics, according to fevered accusations, might contain not just toxic chemicals, but also ingredients obtained through witchcraft, blood of unbaptized infants, ground bones of hanged criminals, herbs gathered on Satan's feast days. These accusations, according to their historical context, arose during the height of witch persecution in the 16th and 17th centuries. Women who were skilled in cosmetic preparation, according to their dangerous knowledge, might be accused of witchcraft. The ability to create powerful cosmetic effects, according to suspicious minds, suggested supernatural assistance. Some cosmetics makers, according to trial records, were indeed prosecuted for witchcraft, with their cosmetic recipes presented as evidence of demonic knowledge. Think about the terror this created. You, according to your situation as a woman skilled in cosmetic preparation, possess knowledge that might get you accused of witchcraft. Your recipes, according to their effectiveness, might be too effective, suggesting supernatural help. Your ingredients, according to their exotic nature, might seem suspicious. Your nighttime cosmetic preparations, according to their secrecy, might look like witches' rituals. The very skill that could earn you money, according to its danger, could also get you burned at the stake. Now, let's explore some of the other toxic ingredients in Renaissance cosmetics that we haven't fully examined. Beyond lead, mercury, arsenic, and belladonna, according to cosmetic recipes preserved in period texts, women applied numerous other dangerous substances to their bodies in the name of beauty. Antimony, according to its use, was applied to darken eyelashes and eyebrows. The substance, according to modern toxicology, is a heavy metal that causes symptoms similar to arsenic poisoning, vomiting, diarrhea, liver damage, and potential death. Renaissance women, according to their pursuit of dark, dramatic eyes, applied antimony daily despite its dangers. The practice, according to its persistence, continued for centuries. Vermilion, according to its chemical composition, is mercuric sulfide, a mercury compound used for its brilliant red colour. Women applied it, according to cosmetic manuals, not just to cheeks, but also to lips, nipples, and sometimes nails. Each application, according to its toxic effect, delivered mercury directly to highly absorptive tissues. Lip applications, according to their particular danger, meant women ingested some of the poison every time they ate or drank. Orpiment, according to its composition, is arsenic sulfide, another deadly poison used for its golden yellow colour. Some cosmetic recipes, according to their instructions, mixed orpiment with lemon juice to create a paste for removing unwanted facial hair. The mixture, according to its chemical action, did dissolve hair, but it also burned skin and delivered arsenic directly into any cuts or abraded areas. Women using this depilatory, according to their ignorance, were painting arsenic poison onto sensitive facial skin. Sublimate of mercury, according to various formulations, appeared in numerous cosmetic recipes claiming to remove freckles, spots, or blemishes. The substance, according to its chemical nature, is mercuric chloride, one of the most toxic mercury compounds. It did, according to its bleaching action, lighten dark spots on skin. It accomplished this, according to the actual mechanism, by killing skin cells and causing chemical burns that left white scar tissue. Women, according to their understanding, thought their freckles were fading. According to reality, their skin was dying. Litharge, according to its composition, is lead oxide used in some cosmetic and medicinal preparations. Women consumed it, according to various beauty recipes, in drinks promising to improve complexion from within. Internal consumption of lead, according to toxicology, is even more dangerous than topical application. These beauty drinks, according to their effects, delivered concentrated lead directly to the digestive system, where it was efficiently absorbed and distributed throughout the body. Borax, according to its applications, was used as a skin cleanser and in various cosmetic preparations. While less immediately toxic than heavy metals, according to modern toxicology, chronic borax exposure can damage reproductive systems and cause developmental problems. Women using borax-containing cosmetics throughout their childbearing years, according to cumulative effects, likely experienced fertility problems that were never attributed to the cosmetics. Quicklime, according to its horrifying use, appeared in some extreme cosmetic recipes claiming to restore youth. The substance, according to its chemical nature, is calcium oxide, caustic enough to burn skin severely. Some recipes, according to their instructions, suggested applying quicklime paste to the face to refresh the complexion. The result, according to chemical burns, was severe damage requiring even heavier cosmetics to cover the destruction the beauty treatment caused. Let's meet Francesca, a Milanese courtesan around 1610 who used an extreme regimen of multiple toxic cosmetics simultaneously. According to your profession, your income depends entirely on maintaining extraordinary beauty. You are 25, according to your age, old for a courtesan. Younger competitors, according to market forces, threaten your position. You, according to your desperate solution, use every cosmetic trick and recipe you can find to maintain your appearance. Your morning routine, according to its toxic complexity, involves multiple poison applications. You start with a freckle, removing paste containing mercury sublimate. While that sits on your skin, according to the recipe's instructions, you drink a beauty tonic containing litharge. After removing the mercury paste, according to your process, you apply Cirrus foundation mixed with egg white. You add vermilion rouge to cheeks and lips. You apply antimony to darken your eyebrows and lashes. You use belladonna drops to enlarge your pupils. Your final step, according to your complete look, involves dusting gold powder mixed with arsenic over your shoulders and chest. Think about what you've just done to your body. You've applied, according to the catalogue, mercury compounds, lead compounds, arsenic compounds, and antimony, plus ingested lead. You've absorbed these toxins, according to multiple pathways, through facial skin, lip membranes, eye tissues, and digestive tract. The toxic load, according to its magnitude, is staggering. You do this, according to your routine, every single day. Your body, according to the assault, has no chance to recover between exposures. According to your symptoms over the next year, you develop the full spectrum of heavy metal poisoning. Neurological problems, according to their progression, include tremors, memory loss, and personality changes. Your clients, according to their perception, think you are becoming difficult and unstable. Gastrointestinal distress, according to chronic pain, makes eating nearly impossible. Your weight loss, according to its severity, is visible. Skin damage, according to the cosmetics effects, creates sores and discoloration that require even heavier makeup to conceal. The cycle, according to its viciousness, accelerates your decline. You die, according to death records, at age 26. The official cause, according to the listing, is consumption and melancholy. Your colleagues, according to their understanding, think you died of heartbreak after losing clients to younger courtesans. No one, according to the tragic truth, recognizes that you died from the very cosmetics you used to stay competitive. Your cosmetic collection, according to its fate after your death, is sold to other courtesans who will poison themselves in turn. Now let's examine the practice of cosmetic layering and the cumulative toxic exposure it created. According to cosmetic manuals, proper makeup application for formal occasions required multiple layers of different products, each adding its own toxic component. The base layer, according to standard practice, was often an oil or balm meant to help other cosmetics adhere. These bases, according to their ingredients, might contain lead-based compounds, mercury-containing substances, or animal fats mixed with various toxins. Your skin, according to this first layer, was already exposed to poison before you even applied the visible cosmetics. The second layer, according to the process, was the foundation, typically Cirrus, or a similar lead-based white powder mixed with binding agents. This layer, according to its application, needed to be thick enough to create an opaque white surface covering all natural skin tone and any blemishes. The amount of lead, according to the required coverage, was substantial. The third layer, according to its purpose, added colour back to the deadened white surface. Rouge for cheeks and lips, according to its composition, usually contained mercury compounds. Some women, according to additional color applications, also added vermilion to earlobes, fingertips, and nipples. Each application site, according to its absorption, delivered more mercury to the bloodstream. The fourth layer, according to elaborate looks, might include accents, darker shading to define features, lighter highlighting on nose and chin, darkening of eyebrows and lashes with antimony. These detail applications, according to their cumulative effect, added additional toxic compounds to the mixture already on your face. The fifth layer, according to special occasions, might involve decorative elements, gold dust mixed with arsenic, glittering powders containing various metallic compounds, even tiny pieces of mica or glass for sparkle. These decorative additions, according to their contribution, introduced yet more toxic substances. Think about the total toxic load. Your face, according to this layering, is covered with multiple overlapping poisons: lead, mercury, antimony, arsenic, and various other toxic compounds. The layers, according to their chemical interactions, might react with each other in ways that increase toxicity. Your skin, according to its permeability, absorbs these substances throughout the hours you wear them. When you remove the cosmetics at night, according to the residue, some remains on your skin, continuing to poison you even after you think you've cleaned it off. The removal process, according to its own dangers, often involved toxic substances. Cosmetics didn't wash off easily with water, according to their formulations designed to last all day. Women, according to various cleaning methods, used oils, animal fats, wine, vinegar, or special cleansing creams to remove makeup. Some cleansing preparations, according to their ingredients, contained mercury or lead themselves. The cleaning process added more poison instead of removing it. Over years of daily application and removal, according to the cumulative exposure, the toxic burden became catastrophic. Your skin, according to the chronic assault, lost its ability to function as a protective barrier. The cosmetics, according to their degrading effect, actually made skin more permeable, allowing even greater absorption of toxins. The cycle, according to its self-reinforcing nature, meant each year of cosmetic use made you more vulnerable to the poisons in cosmetics. Now let's explore how disease epidemics intersected with cosmetic culture in particularly tragic ways. According to epidemic patterns in Renaissance Europe, recurring waves of plague, smallpox, typhus, and other diseases created populations of survivors whose faces bore the scars of illness. These scars, according to social stigma, made people unmarriageable and socially unacceptable. Cosmetics, according to their perceived necessity, seemed like the only solution. Smallpox, according to its epidemic impacts, was one of the worst culprits. Survivors, according to the disease's effects, typically had deeply pockmarked faces. The scars, according to their severity, could be disfiguring. For women, according to beauty standards, these scars were socially devastating. Marriage prospects, according to their evaporation, disappeared. Social standing, according to its decline, plummeted. Cosmetics, according to desperate survivors, offered the only hope of covering the damage. But according to the tragic irony, smallpox-scarred skin was particularly vulnerable to cosmetic poisoning. The pox scars, according to their nature, created broken skin barriers. The lead and mercury in cosmetics, according to their absorption through damaged tissue, entered the bloodstream even more readily than through healthy skin. Smallpox survivors using heavy cosmetics to cover their scars, according to this double injury, poisoned themselves faster than women with intact skin. Meet Rebecca, an English merchant's daughter who survived smallpox at age 16 around 1650. The disease, according to its course, nearly killed you. You survived, according to medical records, but your face emerged covered in deep pockmarks. Your betrothal, according to its immediate consequence, was broken. Your family, according to their diminished prospects for you, faced the reality that you were now unmarriageable. Your mother, according to her solution, obtained the most expensive serous available and taught you to apply it in thick layers filling the pockmarks. The technique, according to its demands, required using far more cosmetic than women with smooth skin needed. You applied serous, according to your desperate hope, not just to create a white surface, but to literally fill the holes in your skin. The amount of lead, according to the quantities involved, was enormous. The serous, according to its chemical nature, didn't actually fill the scars. It just created a thick surface layer that broke and flaked constantly as your facial muscles moved. You, according to the maintenance required, needed to reapply frequently throughout the day. Your exposure to lead, according to this constant reapplication, was far beyond even typical cosmetic use. Your damaged skin, according to its permeability, absorbed the lead readily. Within a year, according to your symptoms, you showed clear signs of lead poisoning. The tremors in your hands, according to their visibility, made it hard to apply the cosmetics you depended on. The severe headaches, according to their frequency, left you bedridden for days. Your mental state, according to its deterioration, became erratic and confused. You died, according to death records. At age 18, you survived smallpox, according to the bitter outcome, only to be killed by the cosmetics you used to hide smallpox's scars. Rare women, according to documented cases, rejected cosmetics publicly and created alternative beauty identities. Some intellectuals and artists, according to their self-presentation, made a point of appearing with natural faces as a statement of authenticity and learning, but according to the cost of this choice, they were often criticized as unfeminine, unwomanly, or pretentious. Male writers, according to their typical response, praised these women's inner beauty while noting their lack of physical beauty, which revealed the impossible standard: be beautiful naturally without cosmetics, or face judgment for failing beauty standards. Think about how trapped women were by this system. According to social norms, beauty was essential for female worth. According to beauty standards, achieving beauty required cosmetics. According to medical evidence, cosmetics destroyed health. According to social costs, appearing without cosmetics meant social death, exclusion, mockery, loss of status and marriage prospects. The only way to win, according to the game's structure, was not to be a woman in Renaissance Europe. Let's examine the long-term legacy of Renaissance cosmetic practices. According to historical continuity, the basic pattern, cosmetics containing toxic heavy metals, continued for centuries beyond the Renaissance. Well into the 19th century, according to cosmetic formulations, women were still using lead-based face powders and mercury, containing rouge. The Victorian era, according to beauty manuals from the 1800s, saw women still poisoning themselves for beauty, though with growing medical understanding of the dangers. The transformation, according to historical change, came gradually through multiple forces. Scientific understanding of toxicology, according to its development, made the dangers undeniable. Industrial chemistry, according to its advances, created alternative cosmetic bases that didn't require heavy metals. Consumer protection laws, according to their slow development, began regulating cosmetic ingredients. Changing beauty standards, according to aesthetic shifts, reduced the emphasis on extreme paleness that required the heaviest toxic cosmetics. But according to the persistence of the pattern, cosmetics continued to contain dangerous ingredients well into the 20th century. Lead-in lipstick, according to testing by the FDA, was still a problem in the 1990s. Mercury and skin lightening creams, according to international health warnings, remains a problem today in some markets. The fundamental dynamic woman using beauty products that harm their health, according to its continuation, hasn't ended. It is just evolved. Modern cosmetics, according to regulatory frameworks in developed countries, are vastly safer than Renaissance formulations. Testing requirements, ingredient restrictions, safety standards. These regulations, according to their implementation, prevent the worst historical abuses. But according to ongoing issues, cosmetic safety remains imperfect. Parabens, phthalates, synthetic fragrances, per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, FACEs modern cosmetics, according to current concerns, contain ingredients whose long-term effects are debated. The beauty standards, according to their persistence, continue to pressure women toward appearance practices that may harm health. Extreme dieting, according to its health effects, damages metabolism and organ function. Plastic surgery, according to its risks, can cause complications, disfigurement, or death. Injectable cosmetics, according to their dangers, can cause tissue damage, infections, or systemic effects. High heels, according to orthopedic research, damage feet, knees, and backs. Tight shapewear, according to medical warnings, can cause breathing problems and organ compression. Women, according to modern patterns, still sacrifice health for beauty, just with different specific practices. Think about the historical arc. Renaissance women, according to their cosmetic practices, slowly poisoned themselves with lead and mercury for decades, destroying their health for beauty. Modern women, according to a charitable interpretation, are much safer, but according to a critical analysis, the fundamental pressure to meet beauty standards at the cost of health remains. The specific poisons changed, the pressure didn't. Before we conclude, let's explore more specific cases of cosmetic poisoning to understand the full human cost. According to medical records and correspondence from the period, countless women suffered and died from their beauty routines, though most remain anonymous. Their stories, according to fragments preserved in letters, medical texts, and court records, reveal the everyday tragedy of Renaissance beauty culture. Meet Caterina, a Florentine merchant's wife around 1590. According to your circumstances, you are 32 years old, have been married for 14 years, and have 6 living children from 9 pregnancies. Your health, according to your own letters to your sister, has been declining for years. You suffer terrible headaches, stomach pains, weakness that leaves you bedridden for days. Your gums bleed constantly, several teeth have fallen out, and your hands shake when you try to write or sew. Think about what you don't understand about your condition. According to your framework for understanding illness, you probably have a humoral imbalance, possibly caused by childbearing's demands on your body. Your physician, according to his diagnoses, has tried bloodletting, purges, and various herbal remedies. Nothing helps. What neither you nor your physician realizes, according to modern medical knowledge, is that your symptoms perfectly match chronic lead and mercury poisoning from 14 years of daily Cerus and rouge application. Your daughter, according to your correspondence, is now 13 and beginning her own use of cosmetics. You, according to your maternal duty, are teaching her the same beauty practices that are killing you. You show her how to apply Cerus smoothly, how to achieve the perfect white surface, how to add rouge for the fashionable contrast. You are proud, according to your letters, that she is learning to be a proper lady. According to the tragic reality, you are teaching her to poison herself, passing the deadly knowledge from one generation to the next. Your symptoms, according to their progression over the next few years, worsen. The headaches become unbearable. You develop seizures, your personality changes. You become irritable, confused. Sometimes can't remember your children's names. Your family, according to their interpretation, believes you are going mad. A priest is called to perform exorcism, thinking you are possessed by demons. You die at age 36, according to death records, with the cause listed as affliction of the womb and melancholy. According to modern diagnosis based on the symptoms, you died of heavy metal poisoning from cosmetics. Let's examine another specific poison Renaissance women used: arsenic. According to surviving cosmetic recipes, arsenic was used both as a skin whitener and as a depilatory to remove unwanted facial hair. Arsenic compounds, according to their chemical properties, could indeed whiten skin and dissolve hair, but according to their toxicity, they were among the deadliest substances women applied to their bodies. Meet Margherita, a Venetian courtesan around 1610. According to your profession's demands, your income depends entirely on maintaining perfect beauty. You compete with younger courtesans, according to the brutal marketplace, and any sign of aging threatens your livelihood. You are 28 according to courtesan career trajectories. You are approaching the age when attracting wealthy patrons becomes harder. You are desperate, according to your economic reality, to maintain your youthful appearance. You've heard, according to underground beauty tips shared among courtesans, about an arsenic-based cream that promises to whiten skin dramatically and remove fine lines. The cream, according to its reputation, is expensive and dangerous but extraordinarily effective. You, according to your calculation, decide the risk is worth it. Your alternative, according to your assessment, is losing your income and ending up destitute. Think about what happens when you apply arsenic to your face. According to toxicology, arsenic absorbs through skin, though less readily than through ingestion. The arsenic, according to its mechanism, interferes with cellular energy production. Your skin cells, according to the damage, begin dying. Superficially, according to the cosmetic effect, this creates a temporary whitening as dead skin builds up. You think it is working. According to the reality, you are killing your skin tissue. The systemic effects, according to their progression, appear gradually. Nausea, according to early symptoms, makes you unable to eat. Your beautiful appearance, according to ironic feedback, leads people to assume you are dieting to maintain your figure. Weakness and fatigue, according to advancing toxicity, make your work difficult. Your hands and feet, according to peripheral neuropathy, develop numbness and tingling. Your heart rhythm, according to cardiac effects, becomes irregular. You die within months, according to the rapid progression of acute arsenic poisoning, though you successfully maintained your beauty until near the end. Now let's discuss the specific experience of smallpox and cosmetics, because these intersected in particularly tragic ways. Smallpox, according to its epidemic pattern in Renaissance Europe, was a major killer and a major cause of facial scarring. Survivors, according to their lasting marks, often had deeply pockmarked faces. For women, according to beauty standards, these scars were devastating. Cosmetics, according to their perceived necessity, seemed like the only solution. Meet Anne, an English gentlewoman who survived smallpox at age 19 around 1605. According to your survival, you are grateful to be alive. Many died in the outbreak that struck your town, but according to your new reality, your face is covered with deep pockmarks. The skin you once took pride in, according to its transformation, is now scarred, pitted, irreparably damaged. Your betrothed, according to the cruel outcome, breaks the engagement. Your marriage prospects, according to social assessment, are ruined. Cosmetics, according to your desperate solution, offer the only hope of covering the scars. You begin using serous heavily, far more heavily than you'd used cosmetics before. The thick white paste, according to its coverage, fills in the pockmarks and creates a smooth surface. You need to reapply multiple times daily, according to the maintenance, because the serous cracks and flakes off. Your face, according to the amount of lead you are now using, receives massive toxic exposure. Think about the compounding tragedy. Smallpox, according to its damage, already weakened your health. Survivors often had internal damage to organs, according to the disease's systemic effects. Your body, according to its compromised state, is less able to handle additional toxic insults. The heavy lead exposure, according to its effects on your already damaged system, causes faster deterioration than it might in someone with pristine health. You die at age 23, according to the final outcome, your brief adult life defined by trying to cover the scars that saved your life's initial brush with death left behind. The intersection of infectious disease and cosmetics, according to its pattern, created vicious cycles. Syphilis, according to its epidemic spread in Renaissance Europe following its introduction from the Americas, also caused facial lesions and disfigurement. Women and men with syphilis, according to their response, used heavy cosmetics to cover the telltale sores. The cosmetics, according to their toxic effects, further damaged already compromised immune systems. The pattern, according to its grim logic, meant that those most vulnerable to toxic effects, people with existing health problems, often used cosmetics most heavily. Let's examine the specific practices of hair dyeing, because the quest for fashionable hair colour caused its own category of poisoning. Golden blonde hair, according to Italian beauty ideals, was highly desirable. Natural brunettes, according to their desire to meet fashion, used various methods to lighten their hair. The methods, according to surviving recipes, were creative, laborious, and frequently toxic. One common method, according to cosmetic manuals, involved applying a mixture of alum, sulfur, honey, and ashes to hair, then sitting in sunlight for hours wearing a special hat called a solana, a wide-brimmed, crownless hat that exposed hair to sun while shading the face. The process, according to its demands, was repeated numerous times to achieve the desired lightness. Women, according to accounts by foreign visitors to Venice, spent entire days on their rooftops performing this ritual, but some recipes, according to their acceleration of the process, added more dangerous ingredients. Lead, according to various formulas, was mixed into hair dyeing preparations. Women applying these preparations, according to the exposure, absorbed lead through their scalp. The scalp, according to its biology, is highly vascularized, allowing rapid absorption into the bloodstream. Hair dyeing, according to this route, provided another pathway for poison to enter the body. Mercury-based hair dyes, according to their use for achieving red tones, were particularly dangerous. When Elizabeth's naturally reddish hair became fashionable, according to court influence, women sought to replicate it. Mercury sulfide, according to cosmetic recipes, could produce red tones. But according to the application process, women wearing mercury in their hair for hours or days absorbed significant amounts through their scalp. Chronic mercury exposure, according to its neurological effects, caused tremors, personality changes, and cognitive decline, symptoms attributed at the time to hysteria or female weakness. Some hair treatments, according to their shocking ingredients, used caustic alkaline substances that could strip colour from hair, but also burned scalp and skin. Women, according to accounts of the process, endured significant pain during treatment. Burns, according to their frequency, were common. Permanent hair loss, according to overly aggressive treatment, sometimes occurred. The quest for fashionable hair colour, according to its costs, left some women partially bald, forcing them to wear wigs or headdresses to cover the damage. Now let's discuss the practice of bloodletting, specifically for beauty purposes, distinct from medical bloodletting. According to beauty theory documented in Spanish texts, deliberately making oneself pale through blood loss was considered health-promoting and beautifying. Spanish women, according to accounts by foreign observers, practiced voluntary bloodletting to achieve the fashionable anemic pallor. Think about the logic. According to beauty ideology, the ideal complexion, according to Spanish standards, was extremely pale, almost translucent. Natural paleness, according to association, suggested noble birth and no exposure to sun through manual labour. Creating artificial paleness through cosmetics, according to one method, used lead serous, but according to another method, some women deliberately made themselves anemic to achieve natural pallor. The practice, according to its execution, involved either having physicians perform regular bloodletting or, according to more disturbing accounts, women bleeding themselves. The amount of blood removed, according to beauty protocols, was substantial enough to cause visible pallor. The effects, according to modern hematology, included weakness, fatigue, dizziness, shortness of breath, and increased vulnerability to illness. Women, according to this practice, deliberately induced anemia for beauty, combined with cosmetic poisoning. According to the compounding effects, voluntary bloodletting was catastrophic. Lead poisoning, according to its effects on blood, already causes anemia by interfering with hemoglobin production. Women who both used lead cosmetics and practiced beautifying bloodletting, according to the double assault on their blood, became profoundly anemic. The weakness and pallor, according to the tragic irony, were initially considered beautiful. The very image of delicate aristocratic femininity, even as they signaled the body's failing system. Let's examine the psychological dimension of cosmetic use, because the mental health effects were significant even beyond the direct neurotoxicity of heavy metals. According to modern psychological understanding, being trapped in an impossible system where you must poison yourself to be socially acceptable creates profound psychological stress. Meet Beatrice, a noblewoman in Naples around 1580. According to your daily reality, you spend hours applying cosmetics, knowing they're damaging your health but feeling unable to stop. The contradiction, according to your internal experience, creates constant anxiety. You are afraid of the cosmetics. You are more afraid of appearing without them. The fear, according to its pervasiveness, colors everything. Your relationship with mirrors, according to your behavior, becomes obsessive and tortured. You check your appearance constantly, according to your compulsion, looking for any imperfection, any sign that the cosmetics aren't working perfectly. But you also dread mirrors according to your awareness, because you know what you are doing to yourself. The woman in the mirror, according to your perception, is both your creation, the painted beauty, and your victim, the person being poisoned. Think about the cognitive dissonance, according to psychological analysis. You know the cosmetics are poison. Physicians have told you. You can see other women sicken from the same practices. You feel your own health declining, yet you apply the cosmetics every day. Maintaining this contradiction, according to psychological research, creates severe mental stress. The stress, according to its effects, causes anxiety, depression, and psychosomatic symptoms. Layered on top of the physical symptoms from actual poisoning, the social isolation, according to another psychological burden, was significant. The process of applying cosmetics, according to its secrecy, had to be hidden from all but most trusted servants. Other women must see only the finished result, never the work that creates it. You, according to this isolation, can't discuss the process, can't share the burden, can't collectively acknowledge what you are all doing to yourselves. The isolation, according to psychological impact, prevents the kind of collective resistance that might emerge if women could openly discuss the system harming them. The body dysmorphia, according to modern diagnostic frameworks, was likely severe. After years of only appearing in public with heavy cosmetics according to the pattern, your natural face looks alien and ugly to you. You, according to distorted perception, can't accurately assess your own appearance. The cosmetics become the face you identify as yours. Your actual face, according to your feeling, becomes a shameful secret that must be hidden. Now, let's explore the role of portraiture in reinforcing toxic beauty standards. According to Renaissance art history, portraits were idealized, not realistic. The painted face in a portrait, according to artistic conventions, showed perfect white skin, perfect features, no signs of aging or imperfection. These portraits, according to their social function, set standards that real women tried to match. Think about what this created. Elizabeth I, according to her portrait commissions, insisted on being depicted with flawless white skin even in her 60s. Real courtiers seeing these portraits, according to their response, understood that the Queen's actual appearance, maintained by thick cosmetics, was supposed to match the portrait. The portrait, according to its purpose, wasn't documenting reality but prescribing it. Other women, according to the modelling effect, took these prescriptions as standards they must meet. The portraits, according to their preservation, survive today. We can see them, according to museum collections, hanging in galleries worldwide. The women look serene, beautiful, ageless. What we can't see, according to the hidden reality, is the poisoned skin under the paint. the damaged bodies behind the elegant clothing, the shortened lives that buying these portraits cost. Art history, according to standard interpretation, celebrates these images as masterpieces of Renaissance culture. Medical history, according to darker interpretation, sees them as propaganda for deadly beauty standards. Some portraits, according to their remarkable detail, actually show evidence of cosmetic use. Close examination, according to art historical analysis, reveals the texture of thick serous application, the unnatural flatness of heavily made-up skin, the artificiality that painters sometimes couldn't entirely hide, despite conventions of idealizations. These details, according to informed viewing, transform from artistic technique into documentary evidence of poisoning. Let's discuss the experience of servants who applied cosmetics to aristocratic women. According to household structures, noble women had ladies' maids or servants specifically responsible for cosmetic application. These servants, according to their exposure, handled toxic materials daily. Their health, according to occupational exposure, was also at risk. Meet Elena, a lady's maid to a Venetian noblewoman around 1595. According to your job, you apply your mistress's cosmetics every morning. You grind the cerous powder, according to preparation, inhaling lead dust. You mix the rouge, according to the process, getting mercury on your hands. You apply the cosmetics to your mistress's face, according to technique using your fingers. Your exposure, according to occupational health standards, is significant, but according to your social position, your health doesn't matter to anyone. You are a servant, according to the hierarchy, readily replaceable. If you become sick, according to the expectation, another servant will take your place. No one, according to social indifference, tracks how many ladies' maids sicken or die from cosmetic exposure. Your health damage, according to its invisibility, doesn't appear in historical records the way your mistress's would if she died. Think about the class dimension. Your mistress chooses to use cosmetics knowing the risks, according to her social calculation balancing beauty against health. You, according to your lack of choice, must handle these materials as your job requirement. Your mistress might survive, according to her better overall health from superior nutrition and less physical labor. You, according to your worse baseline health, suffer more from the same exposure. The poison, according to its unequal effects, harms the powerless more than the powerful. Some servants, according to their awareness, tried to protect themselves. Wearing gloves, according to one strategy, kept mercury rouge off hands. Holding breath while grinding cerous, according to another technique, reduced inhaled lead dust. But according to the limitations, pre-industrial gloves were porous, and no one can hold their breath through hours of cosmetic preparation. The protective measures, according to their effectiveness, were minimal. Now let's examine how cosmetic practices interacted with Renaissance medicine's other toxic treatments. According to medical practice of the era, physicians used numerous poisonous substances as medicines. Mercury for syphilis, antimony for various conditions, opium for pain. Women using cosmetics, according to the layered exposure, often also received these medical treatments. Mercury used as medicine for syphilis, according to the treatment protocol, was administered in much larger doses than cosmetic mercury. Women who had both syphilis and used mercury cosmetics, according to the double exposure, received catastrophic mercury loads. The treatment, according to historical accounts, was often as deadly as the disease. Women, according to the tragic combination, poisoned themselves deliberately with cosmetics, and then were poisoned medically as treatment for disease. Antimony, according to its medical use, was given to induce vomiting as a treatment for various ailments. The substance, according to its toxicity, is poisonous. Women weakened by cosmetic poisoning, according to their vulnerability, were less able to tolerate aggressive medical treatments. The treatments, according to their effects, often killed patients already compromised by chronic cosmetic poisoning. Opium, according to its use for pain, was given to women suffering from the pain of cosmetic damage, the sores, headaches, stomach pain from lead and mercury. The opium, according to its addictive potential, created dependency. Women, according to the vicious cycle, used cosmetics that caused pain, took opium for the pain, became addicted to the opium, and continued using the cosmetics that caused the pain they needed opium to tolerate. Think about being caught in these medical cycles. You use cosmetics that poison you. You develop symptoms from the poisoning. You see physicians who treat the symptoms with more poison. The treatments don't address the cause, the cosmetics, because stopping cosmetics isn't socially acceptable. You continue all the poisons simultaneously, cosmetic, medical, and otherwise, spiraling deeper into toxicity, with no exit visible. Let's discuss the rare women who successfully resisted cosmetic culture, and what made their resistance possible. According to documented cases, some women rejected cosmetics and maintained social standing. Their circumstances, according to analysis of their positions, reveal what it took to escape the trap. Some women, religious, according to their vows and cloistered lives, could reject cosmetics because they rejected worldly beauty standards entirely. Nuns, according to their identity, weren't competing in the marriage market or court culture. Their community, according to religious values, measured worth differently than secular society. This alternative value system, according to its protective function, allowed escape from beauty pressures. Some intellectual women, according to their strategy, created identities based on learning rather than beauty. Women like Moderata Fonte or Lucrezia Maranella, according to their writings, positioned themselves as scholars and writers. Their intellectual contributions, according to their social capital, gave them value beyond appearance. But according to the limited availability of this option, very few women had access to education and intellectual circles that would support this alternative identity. Some very powerful women, according to their secure positions, could defy beauty conventions. Queens or women of immense wealth, according to their impregnable status, faced less pressure to conform. But according to examples like Elizabeth, even queens often felt compelled to maintain elaborate cosmetic presentations. The pressure, according to its pervasiveness, reached even the most powerful women. Think about what these exceptions reveal. Resistance was possible, according to the evidence, but only with specific enabling circumstances, alternative communities with different values, unusual access to education and intellectual circles, or exceptional power. For ordinary aristocratic women, according to the conclusion, escape was essentially impossible. The system was too totalizing, too effectively enforced, too deeply embedded in social structure. Before we close, let's explore the international dimension of Renaissance cosmetic culture, because this was truly a global phenomenon with far-reaching trade networks and cross-cultural exchanges. According to economic historians studying Renaissance commerce, cosmetic ingredients and finished products moved along the same trade routes that carried spices, silk, and precious metals. The quest for beauty, according to its economic impact, drove significant international trade. Venice, according to its position as Europe's primary gateway to the East, controlled much of the cosmetics trade. Venetian merchants, according to their commercial networks, imported exotic ingredients from across the Mediterranean, the Middle East, and as far as India and China. These ingredients, according to their markup, were often more valuable by weight than many precious metals. A small vial of rare cosmetic ingredient, according to pricing records, could cost more than a labourer's yearly wages. From the East, according to import records, came ingredients like musk, ambergris, and various plant-based dyes and perfumes. Chinese silk, according to its use beyond clothing, was ground into fine powder and mixed into some luxury cosmetic preparations. Indian saffron, according to its applications, was used in both cosmetics and medicines. Arabian gum, resins, according to their function, served as binding agents in cosmetic pastes and were believed to have beautifying properties. But, according to the trade's darker side, the international cosmetics market also facilitated the spread of toxic practices. European lead-based cosmetics, according to colonial expansion, were exported to the Americas, Africa, and Asia. Indigenous beauty practices, according to cultural destruction, were often suppressed and replaced with European toxic cosmetics. The colonizers, according to their cultural imperialism, imposed their beauty standards and their poisonous cosmetics on colonized populations. Meet Catalina, a mestiza woman in Mexico City around 1620. According to your mixed Spanish and indigenous heritage, you occupy an uncertain position in colonial society. Your mother, according to her Nahua background, taught you traditional beauty practices, natural plant-based cosmetics, minimal facial painting. But according to social pressure to appear more Spanish, you've begun using European-style cosmetics, including lead cerus and mercury rouge. The cosmetics, according to their symbolism in colonial Mexico, represent more than beauty. They're markers of civilization and Christianity versus indigenous savagery. Using Spanish cosmetics according to colonial logic demonstrates your embrace of European culture. Refusing them according to suspicion might suggest resistance to Spanish rule or continued adherence to indigenous ways. The cosmetics, according to their political meaning, become tools of colonization, but according to the familiar pattern, the European cosmetics poison you just as they poison European women. Your skin, according to the lead's damage, develops lesions and discoloration. Your health, according to Mercury's effects, deteriorates. You are caught according to the cruel bind between two systems: indigenous practices that are stigmatized and European practices that are deadly. The colonizers, according to their dual assault, destroy both your culture and your health. The cosmetics trade, according to its complexity, also moved in the opposite direction. Some ingredients and techniques from the East, according to their adoption in Europe, influenced Renaissance cosmetic practices. Chinese white lead preparation methods, according to some evidence, may have influenced European cerus manufacturing. Middle Eastern kohl techniques, according to their transmission, affected European eye cosmetics. The exchange, according to its irony, spread both knowledge and poison globally. According to another dimension of international trade, counterfeit and adulterated cosmetics were a massive problem, with ingredients travelling thousands of miles through multiple intermediaries. According to the supply chain, authenticity was nearly impossible to verify. That Arabian perfume, according to reality, might be Italian. That Chinese silk powder, according to fraud, might be ground glass. That Venetian cerus, according to common deception, might be local lead mixed with chalk. The counterfeiting, according to its dangers, created unpredictable toxicity. At least authentic cerus, according to its standardized preparation, had relatively consistent lead content. Counterfeit versions, according to their random composition, might contain anything: more lead, less lead, different toxic substances substituted to achieve whiteness, or adulterants that were themselves poisonous. Women using counterfeit cosmetics, according to their risk, were gambling with completely unknown substances. Think about a noblewoman purchasing cosmetics from a travelling merchant. He shows you, according to his sales pitch, a beautiful container labelled as Venetian cerus from the finest makers. The price, according to its premium, suggests authenticity. You buy it, according to your trust in the branding. But the cosmetic, according to its actual origin, was made in a dirty workshop in the merchant's hometown using whatever white powder was cheapest. The lead content, according to variation, might be dangerously high or mixed with other toxins. You have no way according to the absence of consumer protection, to know what you are actually applying to your face. The international cosmetics market, according to Business Innovations, developed early forms of branding and marketing. Venetian Cirrus, according to its reputation, commanded premium prices. Products claiming Parisian origin, according to fashion associations, were considered more elegant. Spanish mercury preparations, according to quality perceptions, were thought superior. These geographic brands, according to modern marketing parallels, influenced purchasing decisions and justified higher prices. Some cosmetics makers, according to their business strategies, created what we might now call luxury brands. They, according to their marketing, emphasized exotic ingredients, secret recipes, noble patronage, and premium pricing. A cosmetic endorsed by a queen, according to its commercial value, could command extraordinary prices. The wealthy, according to their purchasing, paid premiums for branded cosmetics, assuming they were safer or more effective. According to ironic reality, they were just more expensive poison. Now let's examine how Renaissance cosmetic culture influenced art beyond just portraiture. According to art historians, the cosmetic aesthetic shaped sculpture, fresco painting, tapestry design, and even architectural decoration. The white and red colouring favoured in cosmetics, according to its artistic echo, appears in countless Renaissance artworks depicting female figures. The ideal woman, according to artistic representation, looks like she is wearing cirrus and rouge, because that is what beauty looked like. Botticelli's Venus, according to her painted appearance, has the characteristic cirrus, white skin and delicate rouge that Renaissance women tried to achieve. The Madonna in countless religious paintings, according to her complexion, shows the same cosmetic aesthetic. Even allegorical figures representing virtues, according to their depictions, are painted with the cosmetic colouring that was destroying real women's health. Art, according to its function, both reflected and reinforced the toxic beauty standard. Sculptors, according to their medium's demands, faced interesting challenges representing the cosmetic aesthetic in marble and bronze. Marble's natural whiteness, according to serendipitous appropriateness, perfectly captured the cirrus, whitened skin. Some sculptors, according to their techniques, added paint or staining to marble to create the rouge effect on cheeks. Others, according to their approach, left the marble pure white, letting its natural colour evoke the cosmetic ideal. The result, according to its irony, was that stone faces looked more like the cosmetic ideal than actual human faces did. The cosmetic aesthetic, according to its influence on art, created a self-reinforcing cycle. Art depicted women with cosmetic colouring. Real women, according to their response to art, tried to achieve what they saw in paintings and sculptures. Artists, according to their models, painted women wearing cosmetics to achieve the ideal. The art showed cosmetics showing art showing cosmetics in an endless recursive loop. The boundary, according to its dissolution, between natural beauty, cosmetic beauty, and artistic representation collapsed entirely. Now, let's discuss one final aspect: how cosmetic knowledge was transmitted across generations, and the tragic continuity this created. According to inheritance patterns, cosmetic recipes and tools passed from mothers to daughters as part of marriage preparations. A bride's trousseau, according to inventories, included not just clothing and linens, but also cosmetic supplies and recipe collections. The deadly knowledge, according to its transmission, moved through female family lines like a toxic heirloom. Meet Elisabetta, a Florentine girl receiving your wedding trousseau in 1595. Among the items, according to the inventory, are 6 jars of cirrus, 4 containers of mercury rouge, various cosmetic brushes and applicators, a collection of your mother's handwritten cosmetic recipes, and a fine Venetian mirror. These items, according to their value in the inventory, are worth nearly as much as your clothing. The cosmetics, according to their positioning in the trousseau, are presented as essential tools for your new life as a married woman. Your mother, according to the transmission ritual, teaches you her cosmetic techniques. She shows you, according to her instruction, how to apply Cirrus for best coverage, how to create the perfect rosy cheek with mercury rouge, how to check your appearance in different lights. She is teaching you, according to her understanding, essential skills for maintaining your position in society. She is teaching you, according to reality, how to poison yourself. She doesn't know this, according to her limited medical knowledge, but the teaching is deadly nonetheless. According to the poignant detail, your mother's hands tremble as she teaches you. She is 38, according to her age, but looks much older. Her skin, according to damage from decades of Cirrus use, is scarred and discolored beneath the thick white paste she applies daily. Her teeth, according to Leeds effects, have mostly fallen out. She is dying, according to the cause she doesn't recognize from the very cosmetics she is teaching you to use. The knowledge transfer, according to its tragic nature, is both an act of love and an instrument of harm. This generational transmission, according to its persistence, ensured that cosmetic poisoning continued for centuries. Each generation, according to the pattern, taught the next how to poison themselves. Daughters, according to their trust in maternal wisdom, accepted the cosmetics as safe and necessary. Mothers, according to their investment in the system, couldn't acknowledge that they were harming their daughters. The cycle, according to its self-perpetuation, required no outside maintenance. It reproduced itself through family bonds and maternal love. Now, as we approach the end of our journey through Renaissance cosmetic culture, let me share some final reflections on what this history teaches us. According to the evidence we've examined, this isn't fundamentally a story about vanity or foolishness. It is a story about power, gender, social structure, and the impossible positions societies create for women. Renaissance women, according to their lived reality, faced genuinely impossible choices: meet beauty standards using cosmetics that would slowly kill you, or reject the cosmetics and face social death, mockery, rejection, exclusion from marriage prospects, and social participation. According to either choice, you suffered. The system, according to its structure, was designed to harm women regardless of their choices. Use cosmetics, poisoned. Don't use cosmetics, socially destroyed. The women, according to this analysis, weren't foolish for choosing the cosmetics. They were trapped in a system that gave them only destructive options. The men in this story, according to their role, created and enforced beauty standards while criticizing women for meeting them. Male writers, according to their texts, praised female beauty while condemning cosmetic use, a logical impossibility since the beauty they praised required the cosmetics they condemned. Male physicians, according to their practice, warned women about cosmetic dangers while providing no alternative paths to social acceptance. Male political leaders, according to their interests, benefited from a social system that kept women focused on appearance rather than power. The cosmetics, according to feminist analysis, were tools of a patriarchal system that harmed women for male benefit. But according to complexity, some women benefited from and enforced beauty standards on other women. Mothers, according to their participation, taught daughters to poison themselves and considered it good mothering. Elite women, according to their gatekeeping, judged and excluded women who didn't meet cosmetic standards. The system, according to its sustainability, required female participation in enforcing the rules that harmed women. This doesn't absolve the patriarchal structure, according to the analysis, but it shows how deeply embedded these patterns become. The economic interests, according to their role, profited from selling poison to desperate women. Merchants, apothecaries, cosmetic makers, perfumers, all according to their business models, made money from women's need to meet beauty standards. The cosmetics industry, according to its incentives, had no reason to promote safety or alternatives. Creating and maintaining dangerous beauty standards according to corporate benefit was profitable. This dynamic, according to its continuation, persists in modern beauty industries worth hundreds of billions of dollars globally. The medical establishment, according to its limited effectiveness, understood the problem but couldn't or wouldn't solve it. Physicians, according to their knowledge, increasingly realized cosmetics caused illness and death, but according to their actions they continued to treat symptoms while the underlying cause, toxic cosmetics, remained unaddressed. The medical system, according to its failure, prioritized treating individual sick women over changing the social system, making women sick. Sound familiar? According to modern medical patterns, this dynamic continues. Think about women like Elizabeth I, Maria Coventry, Diane de Poitiers. These were, according to their positions, powerful women. Elizabeth ruled England. Diane wielded enormous political influence in France. Maria was wealthy and celebrated. Yet they, according to their choices, still poisoned themselves for beauty. Even power, according to this evidence, didn't free women from beauty standards demands. If queens and royal mistresses couldn't escape the trap, according to the implication, what chance did ordinary women have? The Renaissance cosmetic tragedy, according to its lessons, teaches us several crucial things about how beauty standards operate. First, according to the pattern, dangerous beauty practices aren't primarily about individual vanity, but about social power and gender oppression. Second, according to the evidence, warning about dangers doesn't stop the practices if the social pressure to conform remains. Third, according to the history, profit motives and beauty interests actively work against safety. Fourth, according to the continuity, these patterns persist across centuries, adapting to new contexts, but maintaining the fundamental dynamic of women harming themselves for beauty. What can we learn according to relevance for modern life? First, according to application, when we see beauty standards that require harming health, we should recognize them as systems of oppression, not neutral aesthetic preferences. Second, according to personal response, we should be skeptical of beauty industry claims and recognize that profit motives may work against our safety. Third, according to social action, we should work to change social systems that pressure women toward harmful beauty practices, not just warn individuals about dangers. Fourth, according to historical consciousness, we should remember that women throughout history have faced these impossible binds, and their struggles connect to ours. The women who died for beauty in Renaissance Europe, according to their legacy, deserve more than just being remembered as cautionary tales. They, according to their resistance and resilience, tried to navigate an impossible system. They, according to their choices, made decisions that seemed rational within their context, even if they seemed tragic from ours. They, according to their dignity, deserve acknowledgement that they were trapped by forces larger than individual choice. As you drift off to sleep tonight after spending this long night exploring Renaissance cosmetic culture, I want you to think about several things. First, according to gratitude, think about how much safer your cosmetics are compared to Renaissance formulations. Modern regulations, according to their protection, prevent the worst historical abuses. When you apply makeup tomorrow, according to the contrast, you are not slowly poisoning yourself with lead and mercury. That safety, according to its source, came from centuries of women suffering, physicians documenting that suffering, and eventually regulations protecting consumers. But second, according to awareness, think about how beauty standards still pressure women toward practices that may harm health. The specific dangers changed, according to the evolution, but the fundamental pressure to meet appearance standards at the cost of health hasn't ended. When you feel pressure to meet beauty standards that require harming yourself, whether through extreme dieting, risky procedures, or expensive products, remember that you are experiencing an echo of the same forces that made Renaissance women poison themselves. Third, according to action, think about how you can resist harmful beauty standards in your own life and support other women doing the same. Every time you choose health over beauty standards, according to the small resistance, you push back against centuries of pressure, Every time you refuse to judge other women for their appearance, according to the solidarity, you weaken the system. Every time you speak up about harmful beauty practices, according to the activism, you continue the work of the women and physicians who fought against toxic cosmetics. Fourth, according to historical connection, remember the specific women we've met tonight. Isabella, applying her morning cirrus without understanding it would kill her. Marie, desperately maintaining court beauty standards at the cost of her health. Elizabeth I, hiding her poisoned skin under ever thicker layers of deadly cosmetics. Maria Coventry, dying at 27 after choosing slow poisoning over social rejection. Diane de Poitiers, consuming gold for decades to stay beautiful. These women, according to their humanity, were real. They lived, suffered, and died. They deserve to be remembered not just as victims, but as people who navigated impossible situations as best they could. Fifth, according to empowerment, think about how much has changed and how much you can choose differently than Renaissance women could. You, according to your freedoms, can reject harmful beauty standards in ways they couldn't. You, according to modern options, have alternatives to dangerous beauty practices. You, according to your voice, can participate in changing beauty culture. The women who came before you, according to their sacrifice, didn't have these options. Their suffering, according to its meaning, can motivate you to use the freedom they didn't have to create better standards for women who come after you. Sweet dreams, and may you wake tomorrow with deep appreciation for the ways modern life is safer than the past. Determination to resist beauty pressures that harm health. Compassion for the women throughout history who faced impossible choices. And commitment to creating a world where women's value doesn't depend on meeting appearance. Standards that require self-harm. May you remember that true beauty, according to timeless wisdom, comes from health, strength, kindness, and confidence, not from poisoning yourself to meet artificial standards. Thank you for spending this long night with me, exploring one of history's most toxic beauty cultures. Thank you for meeting Isabella, Marie, Elizabeth, Maria, Diane, and all the women whose names we'll never know, but whose suffering teaches us important lessons. Sleep well, and remember that every time you prioritize your health over appearance pressure, you honor their memory and push back against the systems that harmed them. Good night. And may your dreams be filled with visions of a world where all women are free to be healthy, strong, and valued for who they are rather than how they look. Sweet dreams.